Right. Looks like we are back into it, guys. Hey! So this is the very last episode of the Arcadum saga. It's been a wild ride, but I think we've just about seen everything aside from Volcana and maybe I think like 2 to 3 other people's accounts. Currently I'm looking at the girlfriend Tiffany's Twitter, and I'm not finding like specifically a twit longer. It's possible I'm just not seeing it, but I've scrolled back like a couple weeks and it's not popping up or anything. I do see that she says, imagine what they went through and multiply it by 1,000. I would have to write a novel to tell my side of the story. I kicked him out when I found proof and changed the locks. Every time I read another Twitlonger, I relive my darkest days. Every time they repeat his lies, it's like he's here gaslighting and manipulating me. None of these girls took the time to get to know me. Now I understand why I always felt so alone and unwelcome. Yeah, so it sounds like, what he did to his girlfriend was pretty much in line with what he did to everybody else around him. I was wondering if, like, how do you have a girlfriend for 8 years? Like, did he treat her better? And it's looking like maybe that's not the case. So, yeah, we've hit Tiffany. If you're interested in looking at Tiffany herself, it's at @tiff_tiefling on Twitter. But looks like so this is part 4. I only just caught up with part 2 yesterday. I didn't even know about part 3 until the stream appeared. Yeah, I kind of forgot to undelist it, so it exists. I mean, you can technically watch these in whatever order you want, but yeah, it's there. Let's see. No, you have come. Yeah, so we also do have a 90-minute call where he's like kind of talking with his mods and like pushing back against what they're saying. I don't know if I'll play that one, not only because it's so long, but because, I mean, technically it's not really one of the more serious allegations and stuff that's come up. So, yeah, I don't know if we'll do that. I will say that there is Arcadum's response to the situation. Where is that? I had it here somewhere. Here we go. Arcadum, at Glorious Arcadum. So we do have, and I just wanted to say thank you to Seabird. It looks like you got a mug and a mouse pad with the sunlit pit image on it. Thank you so much. I hope it's to your liking. I really do. And I appreciate it. Let's see. The one about no weak ideas. Yeah. Maybe we'll finish off with that one, but this is going to be the last stream, so I need to make sure I hit everything. To my knowledge, I think this is his last response. It was posted on the 2nd of September, so about a week ago. So aside from, you know what? Yeah, we'll read this first, and then we'll read Crystal and Stare, and then Volcana's. Volcana's, I believe, is the most serious of the accusations, so we'll hit that one right after this. Okay, so Arcadum, for those of you, this is the guy that everybody's coming out against, that did some kind of nasty stuff to the people around him. Okay. And, alright. My response to everyone. The past few days have been a difficult time for a lot of people, including my family, friends, and the entire community as a whole. For me, it has also been a time of personal reflection. There have been many stories and feelings shared about some of my actions over the years within the D&D community. I have been processing a lot and want to address matters as best I can. I realize I will not be able to repair much of the damage that has been done or properly share my full perspective, but I owe an explanation and apology to all those affected. The truth is, I have developed and engaged in a wide range of relationships with people over the years, some of them leading into sexual territories and times when I made mistakes and was selfish. Are they mistakes? I mean, he did them over and over again consistently and didn't really listen when people were like, hey, this isn't good, you need to stop. So I don't know if that's mistakes, if it's deliberate, right? He made a severe and constant lapse in judgment, whatever the quote is. What do you plan to stream after the series? I'll probably do some scary games. There's that burger-themed one I really want to do, indie game, free. Probably going to do that tomorrow. Ava also recommended Dinner with an Owl. So, yeah. People like him are nervous. Yeah, well, he's sorry he got caught. I believe that, but I don't believe He, you know, because as soon as, like, people started talking that they were going to come out, he immediately tried to discredit them, and, like, he altered evidence and, like, changed his messages to say something completely different than what he had originally said. So, yeah, he's not sorry. He just wanted to do whatever he wanted to do with no consequence. I never sought out relationships purely for sexual purposes. Lie, right? I mean, you guys be the judge. You guys have been here, most of you, for, like, 4 streams now. Do you believe that to be true or not? He never sought out relationships purely for sexual purposes. And to be absolutely clear, I have never engaged in non-consensual activity. We're going to be reading Fulcona's. We'll see. We'll see if that's true. Let's see. You're interested to see how he'll explain hiding evidence? I bet he won't. I bet he won't. Because there's no way for him to explain it, so he's just going to not say anything. These were relationships that developed as genuine friendships. Guys, what we read, that was a genuine friendship, alright? One could argue that making a decision in spite of what advice you get given could be considered a mistake. Words don't feel like it covers up the level. Yeah, like maybe a mistake in the way that he shouldn't have done that. But in my opinion, like, mistake is where you forget your keys or whatever. Like, this guy, people told him no and he kept pushing. I don't know if that's, like, a mistake. Like, it's wrong. It's a wrong thing to do, but it's not like, oh, whoops, my bad. Purely asexual lap dance friendship. I greatly valued these friendships and still do. Didn't he, like, exile them all and fire them? Yet I have been unfair to many of them, and I am sorry for the hurt I have caused them. In addition to being unfair to my friends, I love how he says unfair. Like, what we've seen is, like, manipulation, gaslighting. I would actually go as far to say, like, verbal and, maybe not verbal, but emotional abuse, you know, where he pushes and pushes, and if somebody says no, he immediately becomes the victim and makes them comfort him. Like, and unfair. I think unfair is an understatement to everything that we've seen. I have also been unfair to my wife, Tiffany, well, fiancé. Last week, Tiffany became aware of these relationships in my communications with people that crossed boundaries within our marriage. You guys aren't married. Understandably, she was heartbroken. I know, because you bitched about it to one of the girls, you know? And I tried to do as much as I could to salvage the situation, i.e., he blocked the people and destroyed evidence. This includes attempting to edit and delete messages I had exchanged with different people, as well as reaching out to them to explain I would not be able to continue any sort of professional or personal association. This was a painful experience, and as a result, I have learned and reckoned with many of the mistakes I have made. I don't believe you've learned or reckoned with anything you've done. You just realize you screwed up so badly you couldn't possibly bury it all. A mistake is something you didn't mean to do. Yeah, exactly. One of the things I regret most is that I've now hurt people who yeah, sure, that's what he most regrets, who I have greatly cared for over the course of many years, people I have confided in who have confided in me. These are the people who have helped me overcome personal challenges when I needed their support, and who have shared truly meaningful experiences with. It has become clear that I betrayed those relationships, and again, I am deeply sorry for that. I want to be clear and encourage everyone to support Tiffany during this time. Tiffany has been my truest friend. Even with my mistakes and all of the ups and downs, she has shown me a lot of grace over the years. She will always be a part of me, and I will always love her. To those who have been reaching out, I am sorry that I have been unresponsive. I don't know where to begin in explaining everything or apologizing to so many of you I have let down. I have removed myself from Callus Row, Virum, and other D&D spaces, as I don't want to cause any further harm in the community that means so much to me. I will not be streaming as I continue to reflect on my actions and seek therapy for personal issues I have struggled with for some time. In the meantime, I wish nothing but the best for everyone involved in the situation and the wider community, Arcadum. I will say, I saw something weird the other day, and I don't know if I misunderstood it or... I don't know, but I could have sworn that he was gifting, I think, like, one of the main Discord hangouts for these D&D groups to a different guy, like Sir So-and-so, I think. But then, according to Sir So-and-so, he rescinded that and held on to it. Does anyone know does that sound familiar to anyone? Like, I was streaming at the time, and when I was looking at threads, I saw that it popped up, or maybe like one of the girls had retweeted it. If anyone knows more about that and is willing to clarify, let me know. But I zoomed past it the other day, and I have no idea if that's what I thought it was. Let's see, removed himself as in got thrown out. Yeah, man. Let's see. These people always make the most verbose apologies. Yeah. Okay, alright, so this was Arcadum, and, we'll have a look at his, Twitter. It's probably blocked or protected. No. Okay, yep, so that was the last thing he's tweeted. He'll be addressing the events tomorrow on stream, so apparently he might have streamed and talked about it too. Interesting. Okay, well there's that. So we've hit Arcadum, we've done Arcadum, we've done, we've done Tiffany's. Yeah, I know about the situation. Basically, okay, thank you, Altiora, as usual, has the know-how. Yes, I know about the situation. Basically, he was going to give the Discord to another mod in an effort to do a good thing for once, but then ended up backing out and claiming he'd return in a month. Fuck! I wondered, I was like, no way. No way. But no, that's it. Yeah, Sir Nerp, that was it. Sir Nerp, I remember correctly, and you are remembering correctly. Fuck. Alright, let me see if I can find that. I wanna read that tweet out to you guys. Oh my god. That didn't take long. Guys, how long was it for him to renege on his promise, on his I'm going to do the good thing? How long did that take? Like a week? Like a week? No. No. He's not sorry at all. He didn't last a week with what he'd promised. Okay, fuck, I can't find it. But man, that is perfect. That is absolutely perfect. Check out Naomi's Twitter. She summarizes the whole clusterfuck pretty well herself. Okay, we're back to Naomi's Twitter. That's a gold mine. Okay. Let me go to the thread real quick. Momo. Empress Red. Summer Salt. Okay. Naomi. Man is nothing if not consistent and being inconsistent. After all, he doesn't want to give up D&D. Yeah, he said as much when he was crying to that one girl. The one time he actually started shedding tears to this person he screwed over was as soon as he said, I don't want to give up D&D. Like, that's when he broke down. It wasn't for the apologies. It wasn't talking about the bad things. Oh, man. Okay, where is it? I'm on Naomi's. I'm scrolling. Oh, here we go. Found it. Okay. Okay. Miss Kittens, God, are you here for this? Are you okay? So here we go. Sir Nerp. For clarity, so Naomi retweeted this. For clarity, I do not wish them harm and I hold sympathy for their situation. What sympathy? What sympathy does Arcadum deserve? It sounds like he pulled out his gun, you know, shot right next to his foot once, shot right next to his foot twice, and then just started shooting himself in the foot 18 times. And then, like, he's sitting down now and he's crying about his foot. Like, what sympathy is that? I want to believe them, as they did offer both servers, one successfully, the other only given after this whole fiasco took place, which they claim was miscommunication. Word counts are hard. So Arcadum is claiming that his act of goodwill to give the server to someone else so it could still continue was a miscommunication? Hey man, or Arcadum, hey man, I know you probably hate me, but at least let me give me a second to do something right. I want to transfer the servers to you and hope that you can build a community for Cyric. Gee, does this sound like a miscommunication, or does it sound like he said he wanted to give both servers to this guy, or multiple servers to this guy, so he could continue with it? Sir, I don't, Sir Nerp, I don't hate you. I think you let your depression get the best of you. I don't know if depression makes you do stuff like this. That would certainly be appreciated. I prefer to turn this unfortunate affair into something good and not have the work gone to waste. Gee. Important context. Transfer was delayed due to the server being partnered, not just for lulz. Okay. Sir Nerp. Alright, I am in a call with them at this moment. It was miscommunication. They intended to make their own server, but wished to have a chance to discuss before moving to their new server. To be clear, this server will be given over to me fully. They are sorry for the miscommunication. It is not what they meant. The reason the transfer has yet to occur was due to this server being a partnered server, because this ownership was unable to be transferred, which is no longer the case. Okay, so it looks like we might actually be able to give Arcadum the benefit of the doubt. They're saying that the reason he didn't was because it was partnered, I guess, so the ownership was split between him and maybe somebody else. So okay, alright, I'll let that slide. But wouldn't that have been just the icing on the cake? Okay, well, here we go. She made a good, although this may have been an update from here, so keep that in mind, that this could be something additional that is not saying here. Server and comeback update thread, attaching to keep it all together under the pinned tweet. All right, let's see it. A summary of alleged events. Arcadum promised to leave Virum and transfer the server to NERP. He then supposedly retracted the statement, canceled the server transfer, started to make plans to come back in a month with the PR team. So the coming back in a month is true, but apparently there could be like a perfectly reasonable explanation about this. Like, he tried to, but he couldn't because it was partnered, and so it couldn't be transferred. So I'll give him that. But still, the coming back in a month thing, like, if he's already planning it, then it's not genuine. Like, if you say, okay, I need to, like, take a break and work on things, and then, like, after a month, you're like, okay, maybe I should, you know, maybe. But you can't just be like, okay, well, I guess I'll schedule coming back in a month. That feels so... Who the hell is a PR team? PR team is like a group that will help you manage your public relations so you don't make an oopsie when saying or doing things that will get you canceled. So interesting, very interesting. He needs to hire a PR team, like, to act as a liaison whenever he messages anyone in the DMs, in my opinion. People kept this knowledge quiet and made their own server to move into since he wasn't going to give up ownership as promised. An announcement is made, people started leaving en masse. Chris Fox, this is ridiculous. Arcadum is literally attempting a comeback in a month or so. What happened to getting help? What happened to learned and reckoned? Arcadum, this absolute jackass, really does have protagonist syndrome, and he thinks he's on the redemption arc. Okay, so somebody posted this in Discord. Again, maybe it's fake, I don't know, but it's something to keep in mind. After speaking with Arcadum, he has informed me that he will not be handing over the server to me as he announced he would, and that he is canceling... Oh, so this sounds like NERP. That he is canceling the transfer on the back end. That means he will still remain in control of this server. He has also informed us that he will be back in a month or so when he gets set up in his new apartment. We don't know exactly what that means, but it does involve him wanting his server back. Okay, The former living world of Cyric server has been adapted to have this server as part of itself. It will be separated with two tags, the living world tag and the gaming tag, as to reduce bloat, though you can opt in for both. As of this announcement, the server setup is live and ready to hand people moving over if you so choose. I would ask those that wish to move. You are, of course, welcome in this new server, and perhaps there we can continue building upon what we started there. The team will be providing reminders of this throughout the month to ensure all the servers are ready for the transition. There will not be a DM meeting regarding the something living world. Okay, we've been discussed plans. Okay. Almost immediately, Arcadum or his team make calls. An announcement is made that there was a miscommunication, that he wasn't canceling the transfer, that he was just going to make his own new server. Okay, so Arcadum later claimed that this was a miscommunication, that he really was going to give the server over. He was just going to make his own new server. Arcadum, are you making your own server this soon? It's a little early, bud. You watched the main character syndrome video. It was pretty damn funny. Fuck, I wish we could watch that, but somebody said we'd get DMCA'd if we did. I don't think a PR team can resurrect this corpse of a mess. Yeah, I better get a necromancer. Sadly, regarding the server... Okay, so... Greeting friends and members, I spoke to So this is the original message where he was saying Arcadum... Okay, this is the message we just read, pretty much. Reports are coming in of Arcadum freaking out over calls, flip-flopping hard, following his usual playbook of what to do when he doesn't get his way or when he's in trouble. This situation is a mess, all stemming from, once again, his lies. His miscommunication. The thing that blows my mind is that in the week since his post, his calls, his tears, all the BS, it seems he's put absolutely no energy into any actual resolution, and instead all of his energy into figuring out how he can either get on top of the situation or burn it all down. Sometimes when you think people just can't sink further, they do. Continuing this dialogue is exhausting and stressful, but with what he seems to be trying to pull and how many lies are being fed to everyone that he seemed to keep track of, this needs to be reported. He probably hasn't read all of the reports, the TLs, Twitlongers. He probably sees himself as a victim, as he always does, yup. Apparently he wants to disappear from the internet for a few months now, and then return. Not due to needing time to get help, mind you, just due to the backlash, yep. What's it called when someone has no remorse, no respect for other humans, empathy that only applies to their manipulation, apologizes only if they serve them, that sees everyone as a number or tool, cries to get pity, stops if it doesn't work, and so on. Yeah, that feels like a riddle, but yeah, I think all of that fits Arcadum to a T. His server where only his potential harem can enter. Harem anime MC syndrome. Yep. Whew. Yeah, and he might, that is technically a valid strategy to not get canceled, is where you just try to wait it out, you know? Alright, well, in that case, I guess we will move on to crystals. It was a crystal that had the twit longer, I suppose. Or you know what? Maybe we should do Volcanas, because Volcanas is so heavy. I don't know if it's a good idea to end the stream on that one. You know what I mean? We've got Crystal, Stare, and Volcana. Let me just see. Kelly, Momo, Red, Summer, Volcana. Okay. Oh my gosh, this is a Google Doc. Alright, hang on. Let me see if I can grab that. 8-hour stream, let's go. No! Oh man, this is a long doc. Okay. Alright. Okay, so we've got Crystal, we've got Volcana, and let me grab Stairs too. We'll start with Volcanas, because I think we're almost out of stuff to read. Like, we've read The Girlfriend, we've read Arcadums, we've read the response to Arcadums from the community as a whole. So that just leaves us with 3 people, including Volcana, and then that 90-minute Discord call, which I've heard a little bit of it. It's not like, there's nothing crazy in there, but it does show what it was like working as like staff in this guy's Discord, and trying to bring anything up to him is impossible. Just so you know, if someone made a believable statement that Arcadum used to behave this exact way a whole decade back before he got all the clout, so it's hard to believe he's changed at all. I could believe it. I mean, I don't know if it's true or not, but this pattern of behavior, it doesn't just suddenly snap into you when you're 30 years old. You know, you slowly build your way up to it, you know. Ah, we're nearing the end. We're nearing the horizon. Yep, we certainly are. Okay, so we have Stare, we have Volcana, and we have Crystal. We'll probably end with Crystal and end on the call. That way we can all just eat something, you know, while it plays, or drink or whatever. Okay, guys. Let's see. This is a Google Doc, so it's gonna be white. Sorry about that. I don't have a dark mode for Google Docs. Oh, and for anyone that isn't familiar with this channel, I usually don't do stuff like this. This has been like a once-in-a-lifetime thing for me. And unless something crazy happens, I'm probably not going to come back to talking about it or any other weirdos online. I just wanted to talk about it a little bit, you know. And I got it out of my system. Hopefully you guys got to rant a little and you feel better too. It feels a little bit like the other guy to make feels a bit like othering the guy to make content out of it though. What would the end game be? He goes to therapy, prison? I don't get it. Well, I think the thing is, like, he's being accused of isolating, controlling, you know, emotionally abusing all these people around him. And then he says, okay, well, I don't want to give up D&D. I'll be back in a month. Like, I don't think he can go to prison unless he really did, like, sexually harass or sexually assault this one girl. We'll have to read about that. And again, I don't really have a law degree, so But I think what happens is if you get caught, like, doing really horrible stuff to 10 people that are your friends in DMs, I think it's usually agreed that you probably shouldn't be in people's DMs anymore, or, like, be putting yourself in a situation where you are the DM and you control these social groups, you know? So, I don't know. It's hard. But he probably should take some time to be offline. Again, like, nobody can legally tell him, hey, bud, you should not be online, but I think generally you should at least go through the motions of pretending to be sorry. And pretending to be sorry means giving up the things you like to do socially to reflect on that. And it sounds like he isn't doing that at all. So, I was curious about that. It seemed really distinct from your normal content. Is there something specific about this dude that made you want to make a series of videos about this? Like, have you worked with him in the past? Did you religiously? No, I had no idea who this guy was. I saw Blacks reading the Twitlongers, and I was like, holy God. I don't know. I was really mad about it. Like, this is gross. This is really gross. And it's not too serious. That was until I heard about Fulcana. I wasn't very aware of the Fulcana stuff. And also, it's not really a controversial thing. I think most people that have a reasonable brain can look at these DMs and these Twitlongers and say, yeah, this is gross, you know? So it's not going to be like a really hot button divisive subject, you know? The Road 96 stream was affected because of this guy, because that day and like the day before I was listening to it all and I was like in a really bad mood because of it. Everybody thinks your new drama alert Keemstar, but then no drama alert, just reading the leaks. Just reading the leaks. Okay. Back into it we go. So this is gonna be Fulcana's, the serious one. So this entire document is a trigger warning for sexual assault and abuse, my story. Alright, kinda jealous this drama gets a part 4. The videos were long, maybe the same energy we can put out. Yeah, I really need to be streaming this long for regular games. Hopefully I can get into it. I don't know though, it's just different when you're talking and then, you know, versus like playing games, especially horror games, it's weird. Okay, my story. I believe I was forced and groomed into silence about my experience up until this point. Recently, there has been a lot of drama circulating around one Jeremy Black, aka Glorious Arcadum. I am going to briefly and concisely describe my experiences involving this person. Whoa, so this is from 2019. Most of the ones we see are from the summer of 2020 onwards, and then maybe like January 2020, but this is 19. One of the earliest ones. Oh, boy. It's good that you can show this and get it out of your system until you're satisfied. Yeah. And again, I'm not going to make a habit of it, but yeah. Okay. On the night of the 25th of, November, 2019, I was sexually assaulted by Arcadum in my own home. I invited Arcadum to my home in hopes to help him escape his supposed abusive household setting with his significant other. Man, he's been telling people his girlfriend sucks for like 3 years and using that as the main way to get some, honestly. And simply wanted him to have a fun weekend with my old roommate and I. He took advantage of me on the night of the 25th and used my emotional vulnerability to attempt and perform sexual acts with me. The night began pretty normal, and all 3 of us were watching movies. Once my roommate went to bed, Arcadum asked to scratch my back and play with my hair. I was obviously okay with this because he hadn't been intimate with me before this point, and I am super friendly in this sense with others. It was only when his hands started wandering where they shouldn't when it became something more. I finally got the courage to get up from the seat I was in. He also stood up and attempted to embrace me very close. I allowed it because I assumed it was only a hug, only to feel his erection on my leg. Okay, I remained motionless and did not touch Arcadum back in any way, shape, or form. This weird, dry, humpy embrace lasted several minutes as he cried into my neck. I could feel him. I had heard this was in VR. I could feel him gripping at my shirt and pants and holding me violently and just crying into my neck. Once the first hug finally ended, I pulled away and verbally tried to console him, which I am terrible at in general, about his relationship and home life issues. After a bit of talking and him venting to me, I told him I should go to sleep because it was extremely late in the night, and we had plans the next day that we did not get to because I was petrified from this night. He complied, and I walked him to his room, which was across the house from my door. I checked to make sure his sleeping arrangements were good, and that he had water, food, and toilet paper, etc. When I went to leave the room, he asked for another hug in the frame of the door. For reference, I'm 5'3". Arcadum is larger than me. I agreed out of submission to his emotional Okay, so you agreed, which led to him forcing me up against the wall and proceeding with his version of a hug. My body was touched and grabbed at, purposely avoiding my genitals and breasts to a degree. Okay, see, that's wrong. Like, if you say, hey, can I have a hug? And they say, yeah, and then you go in and you do a lot of groping and it's not a hug, that's, It felt like hours, but most likely went on for minutes, but the line was crossed when he started kissing my neck and trying to hide it behind crying. I pushed him away as gently as I could and disengaged politely. This is so crazy. I can't... Ugh. How do you cry when you're doing... I don't know what's... I wondered if like all the crying and the pity partying was just an act, but but I don't know. There might be legit something wrong with this guy's head if like he's legit crying while having an erection and like grabbing people. I don't know. I don't know. This guy really does legit need to talk to a therapist. I pushed him away as gently as I could and disengaged politely to my room. That was the first night staying in his home, that I locked my door before I went to sleep. My mistake in all these encounters was remaining silent and not telling him to stop. Yep. My ear, because otherwise he can say, oh, she seemed into it. And you're like, well, I mean, I agreed to some of it, but, and then suddenly people are doubting you because, you know, gotta give them a hard no, even if it's embarrassing, even if it's uncomfortable, even if you know it'll hurt their feelings, you gotta protect yourself. But years of sexual and emotional abuse from older men has taught me to just let it happen and move on, so that this is exactly what I did. I was terrified not only for my physical safety, as he easily could overpower me if I retaliated, but I also feared for my career that was so deeply intertwined. Yeah, that's right. This guy is a lot of people's bosses, you know, and he runs this stuff for a lot of people. Ah, boy, so there is a power dynamic there. I feared he would spread rumors and lies about me and use my mental illness and past struggles as ammunition. Wow, what do you know? That's exactly what he did. According to the other girls, he would talk bad about Volcana and like say she was trying to ruin his life and stuff, so that's what he ended up doing anyway. She was 19 at the time. Arcadum is almost 10 years older. That's crazy. Can't be VR as you can't grab people there. You can just phase through people. Yeah, but I think you can like pretend to grab them. I don't know. Arcadum has figured out that by acting like a massive child, he tricks women's maternal instincts and gets a pass. Yeah, he just starts crying, and so that way people are forced to comfort him or look like assholes for not, like, coddling him. Jeez, you missed it happening in real life, the hug and stuff. No, this is all in real life. Apparently, he complained about his girlfriend so much, like she invited him over to hang out with her and her roommate, and so he stayed. That's crazy. And this is one of the earlier instances, too. This is 2019. Most of them were from 2020. Let's see. I feared he would spread rumors and lies about me and use my mental illness and past struggles as ammunition. And for all of you reading, you now know my fears were justified. Yep. Unlike a lot of other women that have suffered due to this man, whether it was emotionally, financially, verbally, and or physically, my experiences do not have screenshots or recordings. I do not have receipts for the marks he left on my skin with his negligence. I tried to tell... So he gave her, like, hickeys, I guess, is what she's saying? Or maybe, like, nail marks? I tried to tell my story in the past, but got silenced by his ability to crush anyone and everyone he wanted to know. He wanted to. And now I finally get to tell my truth. Part 2, the emotional abuse. Okay, so that was the physical aspect. Before we get to the emotional abuse, which I don't think there's a legal component to that, but if we look at the physical, I don't know, he asked consent for a hug, and then he started putting his hands everywhere else, you know what I mean? So in my opinion, like, he asked consent for one thing and then did a different thing, so that does seem like sexual harassment. I don't think it counts as sexual assault. I think sexual assault has to actually have, like, some sort of, well, maybe... I don't know. I think Ava said harassment is grabbing and assault is like... I forget what the definition of assault is, but yeah, this sounds like sexual harassment for sure. This is the girl he humped while crying. Yeah, apparently he pushed her against a doorway after he asked for a hug and then like cried into her neck and put his erection on her leg. And he snuck in there by saying, oh, let me play with your hair. And then like as soon as she got up to leave, like he followed her and grabbed her. So yeah. Can't be proven anyway, so there's no legal stuff. Oh, yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, like, what would this be classified as? And again, take this with a grain of salt. There's no DMs here, so. It does sound in line, especially the crying part. So, in my opinion, I think I could believe it, but again, unless there's, like, him admitting it in DMs or, like, footage or her confronting him and recording that and him admitting it, then I don't think that it could ever really be used in court because it's just hearsay. But it is a good character assassination, which, in my opinion, I believe it. Believable, but no proof. Yep. Emotional abuse. This section will be heavily describing and citing the onslaught of emotional and verbal abuse I was put through by Glorious Arcadum. This occurred 2020 to 21. Okay, that's in line with everything else. And during a certain conflict involving the project known as Callous Row. This was like a D&D VR thing. I will provide further context on it if people really need to ask and want to see, but save the documents and not make it all about the matter. I am leaving out those details. Arcadum had little to no regard for my emotional well-being during and after this conflict, and I was left to pick up the pieces of a good portion of my roleplay career. The only response I got was a lol. Nice, Arcadum, nice. I have receipts from consenting parties showing Arcadum blatantly demonizing me to several of his other victims in an attempt to keep my voice from being heard. Those will be linked below. To conclude this document that was honestly traumatizing to relive and write, I believe I was abused in several aspects by glorious Arcadum, and I believe he is continuing to get away with these actions without proper consequence. I hope my voice, an onslaught of evidence and information all of you are seeing, shows you exactly what kind of person he has been to myself and the other individuals involved. Again, any screenshots posted that are not mine were given consent/permission to be used in this statement. Thank you, Fulcona. Okay. Let me see if I can zoom in real quick. I think there's supposed to be a component of direct or implicit force or violence with sexual assault, like if he was holding her in place while she was actively trying to escape. Oh, okay. So that might be the difference between assault and harassment. Because I know groping, I think, is harassment, but maybe not always. It's so confusing, unfortunately. Okay, so here we have a screenshot. Oh, he's talking to Momo. You guys remember Momo, right? That might not be zoomed in enough. Okay, this might have to do it. So apparently he talked shit to her about all the other girls who he would then later do like practically the same thing to, without the physical aspect, of course. Sorry, I can't believe anything without proof. When it comes to very sensitive matters such as this, you shouldn't just jump to everything that sounds believable, otherwise you're canceling on lies. Well, I didn't say that. Well, no, I did say I believe it, but again, you can't use it as evidence. I don't know. And again, I'm not a judge, so I have the ability to believe stuff that I necessarily don't have proof for. And I would be very interested to see if this girl's story, if she tried to talk to someone about this before all of this came out. You know, like, say if there's evidence of her trying to tell people about this in, like, 2020 or 2021, then I think that would be even more believable, because she's not just hopping on this cancel Arcadum bandwagon that started a week ago. It isn't assault if there is bodily harm. Isn't assault if there is bodily harm or forced entry. No, I think it is assault if there's bodily harm or forced entry. Let's see. And again, I don't think, even if you disregard Fulcona's, probably nothing legal that you can get him on, but we can all agree he's a gross person. And again, I don't have the ability to cancel him either. I never watched him to begin with. Arcadum. Fulcona left Callus Row because and he's saying this in 2021, 4/18. Okay. Okay, here we go. So, he's saying that she was saying he did something sexually assaulty to her way back before the bandwagoning even happened. So this was like 5 months. This was 5 months before what happened, or maybe more like 4. Okay, so that definitely makes it more plausible in my eyes. She didn't just pull it out of her hat to cash in on the cancel Arcadum movement. So that's very interesting in my opinion. Fulcona left Callus Row because I maintained a ruling that her character is dead, and when she told me she was taking her priest character with her, and when I said, lol, good luck, she took that personal, like I was making fun of her pain. Well, I mean, you kind of were. Hence the laughing out loud. Then she told someone in a DM that she was going to try and ruin my career and that I was a sexual assailant. Although that does make it look kind of weird that the straw breaking the camel's back was that her character in D&D died, and that's what caused her to start talking about this. Because then you could also see it from the light of maybe she got mad at Arcadum, like really mad at something, and then immediately started talking about this as soon as her character died. Like, was she keeping it a secret until, like, he wouldn't resurrect her character? Obviously, I did not do anything of the sort, but I am super stressed out in this environment. It may not matter, but what the truth is, a twit longer, even if it's false, could sully or destroy what I built. And when I have done nothing wrong, this is coming from the girl I have talked out of suicide, helped pay for her move and bills on hard times, and I've tried to help at every occasion. I am honestly a little heartbroken that she would threaten me like this. What the actual fuck, man, says Momo. I'm sorry you're going through this. I don't really know Fulcona that well. Arcadum, yeah, it's awful. So anyway, I'm trying to relax and not be terrified of one unstable person. Gee, so it's all, yeah, it does seem like she was trying to talk about this stuff. So he talked about her to Momo. He admitted that there wasn't a sexual assault allegation like 5 months ago. Let's see. You're not playing D&D properly if you're not blackmailing the DM to res your character. Arcadum. So now he's talking shit to Red. We've already read Red's allegations, so he was nasty to Red too, funny enough. Arcadum. Arcadum, might be a while before I get back. A bunch of other things happened. I'll have to tell you later. Red, like what? Arcadum, just letting you know in case you were waiting on me, I had a panic attack. I've never had one of those before. Sorry to bother you with it. Red, why did you have a panic attack? For magic? Arcadum, outside the store. I got a message that Volcana is planning to come forward soon and got so mad from all the lies she will most likely tell. That's interesting. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but he says here, I'm really mad from all the things she's gonna say. I mean, the things she's probably gonna say. I don't know what things she's gonna say because she's making it up. Like, is anybody else getting that from this? I got a message that Volcana is planning to come forward soon. I got so mad from all the lies she'll most likely tell. So he doesn't know what she's gonna say, but they're definitely lies. I don't know, that's a little weird. It's like, I thought, you don't know what she's saying, otherwise you wouldn't say most likely going to, so, He definitely seems to be pushing the narrative in a moment that the assault thing is only because, he killed her character, just more, yeah, that's a good point too. She may have talked to him about the assault. I want to see her talking to him about the assault. I mean, she had to have talked to him about it in DMs, right? Because a good way to check is is to see her bringing it up to him. And, like, if he's really shocked, like, what? I don't, versus, oh, I was just giving you a hug, suddenly that's very telling. It proves something physical did happen between them. Not necessarily, maybe it possibly was consensual, but at least it is admitting that he touched her, By the way, what's the BM? I like it. Check the bottom right corner. I have my credits on. Let's see. And then I thought how I might lose everything. How people will see me differently. Red. Oh, she is trying that? Arcadum. All because her character died. That'd be an awfully serious thing to lie about, being groped and stuff. Just because her character died. Arcadum is shown blatantly deleting/editing past messages to cover his original intention. The first screenshot was a conversation about him assaulting me. Okay, so she did have a conversation. I really want to see this. The first screenshot was a conversation about him assaulting me. I was terrified and brushed it off and even had gotten to a point where I blamed myself for it ever happening. The second screenshot had been heavily edited by Arcadum and has a lot of messages deleted in between my... Why is he deleting his own messages if she's a liar and this thing never happened? Why would he need to alter what he said in the past if he didn't do anything wrong? Hang on, okay. Hang on. I mean, right? Bro, why would you be, retroactively destroying and deleting your messages and changing the things you said if you didn't do anything? Right? Arcadum makes these obviously false lies. He clearly has little regard to other people if he thinks they'll believe. Well, he thinks everybody's an idiot. They're emotional, they're idiots, they're weak. He's a strong, brave, a smart boy, The players were friends, right? Like, why would I not believe my friend, but I would believe a giant weirdo who makes me uncomfortable? According to some of these girls, they really didn't know Volcana, and they had only heard of her through Arcadum, and that was it. Like, they had, one conversation with her, and, they didn't get along, is what one of them said, I think. I think it was Naomi. Maybe he just fucked his spelling a bunch of times and only noticed months later. Yeah. Oh well, you would think people would learn from this. I mean, it's not anybody else who's been exposed in current times, says with sarcasm. Yeah, in fact, I remember him getting really nervous because Cryotic was exposed and, he was venting to one of the girls, about being worried about being cancelled, despite claiming he never did anything. Okay. Arcadum is shown blatantly deleting/editing past messages to cover his original intention. The first screenshot was a conversation about him assaulting me. I was terrified, brushed it off, and even had gotten to a point where I blamed myself for it ever happening. The second has been heavily edited by Arcadum and has a lot of messages deleted in between my own. So we have a before and after. Thank God she had the foresight to screen cap. He went back just in the last few days. He did this for all these other girls too. There's 5 other girls he did this to, all around August 2021. Not just for myself, and edited several sexual or romantic messages. If videos of these exact DMs are needed to prove authenticity, you can ask me for them. Okay, so let's have a look. On the left is the original blocked message. Volcana, I care about you too. So this was months in advance. I care about you too. You're one of the only older men I feel safe around. Sure. Block message. Sure. 2 blocked messages. Arcadum. At stealths, I did feel a draw to you, but I didn't follow though because I love Tiffany. Oh gee, what do you know, guys? Where did we see this before? An edited message where he just suddenly announces that he loves Tiffany? Boy, that's sure strange. I wonder if maybe he edited it to add that later. At stealths, I did feel a draw to you, but I didn't follow through because I love Tiffany and it would have been a mistake. I hope that you can continue to feel safe around me. It's okay. It's better that we didn't. Sex is very scary for me. So she's literally talking about how something may have happened, but didn't happen. Or was, could have happened, but didn't. Sex is very scary for me. Thank you for respecting me as a woman. I'm not disgusted. I'm just damaged. I can't be with a man without literally getting sick and throwing up because of what has happened to me. Gee. Okay, and this is earlier. Okay, so this is earlier. This is last year, 2020. Tendification. I totally respect all opinions. Please don't notice the retraction. Jesus Christ. I love my girlfriend. Boy, I wonder what part of that message was replaced and edited. What? Arcadum, what the F? Ah, don't worry about the taxi, I will cover that. What the fuck am I dreaming? Everything's a safe question. I've been teaching myself my boundaries, so you won't upset me. Well, I didn't even get to read it. Yes, but maybe not tonight. I'm on my period and just earlier made me not in the mood. I understand. Okay. Arcadum, well, thank you very much. Not sure what you meant by that last bit. Oh, gee, I wonder what he edited. I wonder what he added to this months-old message that suddenly has that. Sorry, I was answering a question in Callus Row. Yes, I am not comfortable with that. Thank you for being polite about it. I don't know how I'm ever going to repay you for this. So she's telling him she's not comfortable with something, but whatever they were talking about, it's gone, and it's edited. I wonder what she was saying she wasn't comfortable about. Okay, so it looks like that's it. It looks like we don't have the original messages, which is a damn shame. But you can clearly see... Okay, so if I had to, have on a left hand, I believe Volcana, and then on the right hand, I believe Arcadum. The fact that he went back and retroactively edited messages really makes me think that something did happen. She's not just a random liar that got mad her character died. Again, I don't really have any proof, but I think there's some circumstantial evidence that would lead to believe that he's covering something up here. Okay, well that one was really heavy. I guess we'll do Stare and then Crystal. If anybody can think of anything else to read, because right now I'm going to do Stares to it longer, Crystals to it longer, and then we'll listen to that call. And then that'll probably be it. Oh my gosh. A shot every time Arcadum edits a message. Oh, you're right. Take a drink, guys. Namir in Peace is a quality streamer and is perfect in everything they do. Thanks, Prissy Princess, but I love my girlfriend. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, don't actually do real alcohol with the drinking game. You're not gonna come out okay. Let me see here. So it looks like this also stemmed from an early Reddit thing. Oh boy, deleted. Great. Somebody else is saying that Momo had rumors and that they were being pushed around, specifically on 4chan? Since when does 4chan care about rumors of this stuff? Although I guess they like to watch anybody burn, but... Can you link the thread where these rumors were passed around? It's not much, but some of the threads survived. Wait, hang on. Let me go ahead and have a look at this. I gotta click on the airplanes. Why? One second, guys. Not the airplanes. Okay, so this is gonna be very interesting. Apparently, I guess they were talking about, someone was talking about rumors all the way back in December of 2020. I think he was doing that since a long time because expert and precise, the messages got edited. He knows what to delete and change. Yeah, exactly. 4chan is 4chan, don't think too much about it. True, but isn't it awfully strange how they were talking about how one of the girls who ended up coming out, you know, they were talking about she had allegations and, you know, the stuff had happened to her. I think somebody knew something, or somebody behind the scenes was talking. Okay, we're gonna read this, but again, take it with a grain of salt. Alright, here we go. Okay, so this is Monday, 28th of December, 2020. So on this anonymous board, somebody says he does it for his female friends, only I've noticed. He's got a streamer friend who's been following him for years who was originally a fan called Sci-Fry. He mods for Arcadum, staffs for his Discord and their games and all that. He always asks or hell begs to be put in a game whenever Arcadum brings it up, and he always ignores him, laughs, or straight out just shoots him down. I think that's in line with what we've heard. Like, he will specifically gravitate and ask females to be around him, but like males, he just will ignore them or like not really do anything, probably because he doesn't want anything, you know, from them. I think he's been in one game a long time ago and that's it. He once told him he had plans for putting him into a game, but he's never been brought up since. It's pretty much become a meme in his community. Let Sci-Fry play, Desk-chan, because he's always shot down and never gets a chance. He didn't even put his name on the giant fucking list he made. But a female? Fuck yeah, Arcadum will shill the fuck out of them, especially Kelly and Red. He'd roleplay his way into a relationship with Kelly in his VR chat roleplay thing, and he never stops talking about Red. Never once seen him do things with his wife, however, even though she also streams and stuff. Man's weird. Is this the same guy or somebody else? I don't know. Listen, it sounds like shit when it's put into a paragraph like that, but if you watch him regularly, things slowly fall into place about how he's kind of weird. A part of me thought for a long time he's cheating on his wife with Kelly because of how close they act together, and despite his inadvertent dickishness with some things, I don't think he's the type. Well, thanks for giving him the benefit of the doubt, but no, he was cheating on his wife with Kelly and like 10 other people. It's just the small things that gather over time that you notice. Same with any streamer, if you watch them enough, you notice weird things about them. Yeah, sometimes you can tell when someone's in a relationship, especially if they aren't very good at hiding it, you know? They're like way too friendly. Arcadum read this. He added Sci-Fry to his list because of this. Sci-Fry made the list, guys. I hope he managed to get into a game before Arcadum got cancelled. I'll stick with him being a cunt to his mod, though. One of the people who's helped his community from when it was small, but now refuses to help Sci-Fry back by giving him a chance to play a game now he's bigger. And I'll stick to it with certainty. All you need to do is watch regularly, and it all falls into place when you notice small things. You're all laughing now, but in a few years' time, when the Google Doc or something comes out about Arcadum and Kelly flirting and meeting in secret and shit, it'll be me who has the last laugh. Okay. Alright, I don't think you can see the last bit of that, but there you go. Yeah, somebody called it. Somebody called it. Amazing. So some of the threads survived, but I guess it wasn't the part that talked about Momo specifically. Gee, yeah, and everyone's talking about how they saw red flags, which is weird considering he had a cult-like following. Okay. When the Google Docs come out, boy, was he right. I hate that I have... Okay, so this is by Stare. Stare Loves Food. After this, we'll do Crystal, and then we'll do the phone call. I hate that I have to write this, but I think a lot of people will want to hear from me on the matter. I've been friends with Arcadum since before the beginning of his rise on Twitch, and done what I can to help him along his way. I've played in more of his games than anyone else, and is grateful for all that I've done to help him achieve success. I'm somewhat torn between being there to support him and make sure he can make it through this okay, but also being far too familiar with the behavior several other Twitlongers have described. Supporting him feels like being part of his statistical analysis on how many people he can keep close solely for his own preservation. When something dramatic happens in Arcadum's life, he would occasionally speak to me for advice or emotional support, not unlike how others have described his situation, but with the twist that I'm not a woman. I was, however... Oh, so Stare is or at least... Okay, so somebody said that there was a guy that also made a twit longer that talked about his point of view, you know. So Stare probably wasn't one of the girls that he was doing this with. I was, however, aware that I was not the only person he'd go to for emotional support when he needed. It seems like he would make the rounds one by one, go through the people he knew who he could talk to, and have the same conversations with all of them in order to collect enough pity to momentarily feel better. Hit the nail on the head. How many of those, DM leaks between like 10 different people felt like they came from the same script, you know? Imagine trying to cheat but just getting rejected all the time. Yeah, he did get rejected quite a bit, isn't that right? He got rejected by like 5 girls in 1 week, if I remember correctly. He confessed his love to 5 people and got rejected by at least 3 of them. I think all of them, honestly. He knew who he could talk to and have the same conversations with all of them in order to collect enough pity to momentarily feel better. I knew many of these people seemed to be women, something I was naive enough to infer because women may have just been easier and more receptive to talk about these problems with. So now I'm left with what was actually said and done when talking to those other people. I'm shocked to see how these similar conversations have a darker lining when they were had with women he was attracted to and financially supporting. I think it is very brave for them to speak up because I now fully understand how hard that can be. I know how hard he can be to confront. I have tried at times to have very simple conversations with him that confront some of this unrelated behavior, which he immediately amps up to 100% pity, to the point where it is not worth engaging in him any further. Yep, drink. We've seen that behavior before, where if you try to criticize him or tell him something he's doing is bad, he will immediately start saying, I'm a terrible person, I'll leave you alone, we won't be friends anymore. And it's like, no, just keep it in mind, maybe, you know? Okay. To the point where it is not engaging with any further. It's not worth engaging with him any further. I once brought up how his reactions while DMing a D&D game can cause a player to stop asking questions or encourage them to not bring up things they cared about because he would be incredulous at the idea that the player is accusing him of forgetting something, which often was the case. Oh, so he was a shitty DM, and players brought things up less and less because of said reactions. He went to 100%. He said he should stop running I called it, didn't I? He said he should just stop running games and deserves nothing due to this slip-up. He capped it off with a group of messages that are quite poetic to the situation with hindsight. Yeah, we just talked about this. If you try to tell him anything or give him any kind of constructive criticism, he'll immediately go full ham and be like, oh my god, I'm terrible, I might as well just quit and leave and like not be friends with you, I won't bother you again. Okay. More DM crimes that earn my ire, causing players to stop questioning things or bringing up what they have interest in. Yep. His pimping playthrough was an epic failure. Will he drop it and start a brand new game or reload a save? Oh my gosh. Yeah, with this Twitlonger posted, the thread of fate is severed. You know, dare you continue, will you reload a save or dare continue in this doomed world? Arcadum. So this was 2020, late 2020. You said I am very good at shutting people down, and that is fucking with me, because that makes me out to be a supreme asshole, and if I am a supreme asshole, then I don't deserve the things I have, because I never wanted to earn anything with dishonor. Ugh. Or maybe, dude, you could realize that you're maybe not perfect and take this with a grain of salt and say, okay, well, maybe I could ask other people and see if they, have the same, like, if somebody points out a flaw to you or how you're treating people, then you should probably ask around and say, hey, listen, I need your honest feedback. Is this something you see? And people will either be like, yeah, sometimes, or they'll be like, no, not really. And that'll leave you to maybe decide to work on yourself. Or just take it with a grain of salt and be like, okay, well, maybe this one person just has a weird issue because nobody else has that issue. I mean, assuming you get valid feedback because you haven't groomed, if you haven't, like, trained all your friend groups just to be nothing but yes men that agree with you all the time because they know what happens when they don't agree with you. Honor and Arcadum go together like water and oil. He's legit the embodiment of the nice guy, TM. Yeah. I wonder if he'll be able to weather the storm, or will he just go full under and fade into nothingness? Okay, you know what? Poll time. That is an excellent question. I'm gonna go ahead and put a poll, and you know what, I'm gonna leave it running for like at least 5 minutes, and I want you guys to tell me if he really will, like, he's getting backlash for trying to come back, so do you think he really is gonna try and come back, or like, okay, like come back in the next 1 to 3 months, soon, or do you think that he's not? Alright, let me go ahead and post that question. Do you think he'll try to come back soon? Oh, I can't. Well, Okay, there we go, guys. Go ahead and I want to see what you guys think. He deserves to be forgotten. I don't think this guy could ever just let himself stay forgotten. Like, he needs it. Like, clearly, like, think about everything we know about him. Remember how he would brag to people that he didn't need porn to get off? But then it turns out, watching the DMs, that it was because he couldn't get off unless he had, like, some sort of personal connection to that person. I have a theory that it's because he wanted control. Like, he needs control over someone to feel good. And that's what this was all about. That's why he's a DM, because he needs to control people. That's why he treated, like, 15 women this way. It's because he needs to control people. He can't stay gone because I don't think he can live without trying to control people. I strongly believe that he is going to come back because he won't be able to live without it. You know what I mean? That's my personal thought, anyway. He should not hold a position of authority. I strongly agree. At the very least, anyone that ends up being his friend after this has a whole bunch of twitlongers to look into if they ever think that he's being abusive to them, and maybe they can learn and see if that he's doing the same thing to them. He'll come back because it's the only part of this he was scared of losing. Yeah, exactly. It's the only thing that has value to him, I think. Everybody thinks he's coming back soon, like in 79%. I really wanted to see him work through this and not need so much validation, but it was an uphill battle. When seeking comfort for something his girlfriend had done, he neglected to mention all that he had done. Oh, really? I have been manipulated into comforting him for things he has knowingly instigated, along with many other people, as he goes one by one, tailoring the story to each person, all while leaving out the details that implicate him, which might have actually led to any form of self-reflection and improvement. And now, you need my support again? Because some, quote-unquote, some girl is going to be making up stories, quote, about you. That's what he said? Some girl's gonna be making up stories, and then like 12 people drop these documents and these leaks? You had a larger support network than anyone I've ever known by a massive margin. You were shown the most profound empathy by so many people, and it has never been enough. I've often caught myself feeling envious of how easily people are drawn into your charismatic circle, fueled by your need for sympathy and their willingness to publicly give it in order to keep you stable and content enough to keep going. I never liked it, but I hope you'd work through these issues after enough reassurance. I hope that one day you'd fully accept and internalize all this positivity that had been generously dumped on you by so many people. Accept yourself, your life, your circumstances, and all the people who believed in you. What you've actually done with all that goodwill is absurd, and while acting like you had nobody on your side. Yep, this guy's spitting facts. You have so many people who were willing to help and listen, but you confused love and compassion with sex. See, that's something we said. He kept specifically, and not just him, some other girls would specifically mix, like comfort and compassion with sex, and it's never a good idea. But yeah, he loved to do that, because if he did that, then it turned into, oh, well, you have to comfort me, you have to show me compassion. That meant doing something sexual with him. You are still the arrogant person from your past that you hate. You are arrogant now to believe editing Discord messages in hindsight will do you any good. You are arrogant to think people didn't notice what you were doing. We all saw one piece of the puzzle, but haven't managed to put them together until now because we had faith in you, and you actively made sure people did not share puzzle pieces. I've always seen the subtlety of your manipulation, but I thought it was harmless. I can't support you this time, but I still hope you get better on your own. I am sorry for everyone who this has affected. Yowzer. I will say one thing, the amount of people who are willing to give him so many chances and treat him so well and try to help him, it weirdly shows that people tend to be good. Yeah, absolutely. And they get vacuumed into this creep and he just twists it and basically ruins everything. Okay, that leaves one last twitlogger, guys, and that would be Crystals. After this, we do have the leaked mod Discord call, so I guess we can cap off the stream with that as soon as I'm finished reading this here. Ashley is Stair's wife. She also has rebuttals against him. We'll tell you what, okay, let me look at some of these rebuttals, and then we'll do Crystal, and she links to the unlisted video, so tell you what. Shit, I lost the... No, it's here. Okay. Let me see here. Okay, somebody said there were a couple rebuttals here, and I did recognize the name Ashley, so let's see. Stare, Crystal, Spatula, Nano, Chica. Oh, Chica's story continued but with audio. That's interesting. Okay, actually I can't find it, but then again, whatever. If they're a, community... Oh, here we go. Okay, fine, we'll try it. Because community managers are going to be, by nature, unless he did the same thing to them, a little less serious than this. Probably just going to talk about how he was a shit boss and, never took criticism. Let's see. Okay, my experience with Arcadum. Well, didn't think I'd be here doing this today. My story is nowhere near anyone else's in the group as far as mistreatment of me. Just thought I'd share some pieces that aligned the other posts about what Arcadum's been doing behind the scenes. And of course, Arcadum lied to me as well, no surprise there. So for all the laughs Arcadum and I shared and toast to his success and I'll be there for yous ended up coming down to him wanting my vote in the upcoming Fallout storm at all costs. Probably because I was one of those he was normal with. I really, really hate going behind what I thought was my friend's back and divulging private interactions. Hopefully my record will show that. But this one deserves a singular exception. I don't ever want to be here again. Stare, my husband. Okay, so we just read Stare's twit longer. And I met Arcadum a few years. That's why he didn't touch her, because her husband was the community manager, or one of them. I bet that's why. My husband and I met Arcadum a few years back while Stare was playing Overwatch. Stare was amused by Arcadum's antics in the game, so they got to talking and found out that Arcadum was a professional D&D dungeon master. Stare had been interested in getting to learn D&D, and so was I, so we played in some offline games together. I drew some artwork for Arcadum early on, and eventually made his channel emotes. Arcadum always paid what I asked and was very good, enthusiastic client, so most of our interaction was around that in the games. Meanwhile, Stare was playing in a lot of the stream games as well. I don't speak for Stare's experience, but Stare and I would do a lot of activities together online as far as playing D&D and streaming, so we were never really apart while interacting with Arcadum besides very vanilla business talk. Stare being around us both a lot may be why I wasn't targeted in that way, yep. Of course, Arcadum's own quote-unquote marriage didn't stop him, but after reading everything, I'm starting to think it was less about respecting our relationship and more about a 6'2" man in the way who could put him in the ground if he tried anything to me, and who didn't have any financial ties to him. Of course, I had financial ties to him with my artwork, but I'll still be able to get commissions elsewhere now. Arcadum did tell the stories I read in other accounts about his unhappy marriage, but not with the "I'm so undesirable" angle, more like how unreasonable Tiff, I find out today she's not his wife, was all the time. It's clear from the pattern in the others that he was changing his stories around depending on who he was telling. At one time he mentioned that he used to play games with women's hearts and nowadays felt terrible about it. Do you think he felt terrible about it, guys? Good thing he stopped that, right? Thank God he stopped playing with women's hearts. That, And why would you brag about that? That almost seems like a humble brag. It's like, oh wow, I used to have all these women just wrapped around my finger, just completely at my mercy, played with and, manipulated, and I feel so bad about it. Yeah, okay, player, go ahead and brag about how guilty you feel for being a player. And nowadays felt terrible about it. I failed that one away under, well, now he's exclusive with one woman, so that should fix the problem. Bzz, wrong as can be. Role-playing with his character romantically in Stare's stream D&D game, Myriad feels gross now. Role-playing with his character romantically. Honestly, that just feels like a bad idea. Maybe that's a D&D thing and it's completely normal. But if you're in a relationship with someone in real life and then, you're romantically role-playing with a different person's character, I don't know. Maybe, again, I can't really do role-playing as it is, so maybe I'm just stupid, but that feels bad. Chad, of course, made jokes about how we were hitting on each other in front of Stare, but it was in character, and I actually thought he acted in a pretty mature fashion about it at the time. In the past few days, Arcadum's obviously been doing damage control. On the 30th, he called me up and he described the situation as that he had been dating multiple women and had been thrown out of his house by Tiff, leaving him without a place to go. Although I rolled my eyes and was having a difficulty fathoming multiple people knowingly cheating on his wife with him, I weirdly presumed that they must have been sort of quite out of the spotlight members on the edges of a his community. Perhaps because the alternative in my mind, dating the public-facing women that everyone knew of, was fucked and dumb. So dumb it was visible from space. That world-ending brand of dumb I didn't think he had the ego to think he'd get away with. Yep, he did. D&D romance tends to be awkward even with people that are actually dating. Orc slang is much more palatable. Yeah, I don't know how that happens. I would keep it out of it, honestly. My group, it's one of the unspoken don'ts. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's weird, you know? I mean, I get that it's roleplay, but maybe don't roleplay, you know, sexual arousal or romantic shit, because what are you doing? What are you doing? Especially in front of the person you're actually in a relationship with. These guys just, like, have a whole myriad of, maybe you shouldn't do this, but they did it anyway, and what do you know? You end up feeling gross for it. Yeah, big surprise. I find out now that he only maybe temporarily dated one of them. Well, he certainly sexted a lot of them, phone sexed a lot of them, because it was audio, before she backed off and got weirded out, and the rest he just harassed and then removed them as a result of his own, because we know that Jade's he had VR sex stuff with, and we know that Kelly Siren, they both, like, would have, like, audio sex, so, yeah, more than one person. And the rest he just harassed and then removed them as a result of his own perversions toward them, claiming Tiff forced him to. And even if she did, he essentially chose to sully the reputations and remove women who did nothing other than exist and help him. I don't know what in Christ he was smoking to think that he could, in one fell stroke, remove all these pillars of his community and go on streaming his games like nothing happened. Turns out that women's contributions fucking matter and people care if they're disappeared from a collective. Who knew? Yep. You can't just get rid of like 15 people and people aren't gonna like put the pieces together. Romance with every other character at the table except the one you're dating, but never break eye contact is how you establish dominance in the relationship. No, honey, I swear, I'm playing a bard, okay? I have to do this with everyone. It's in character. Oh my gosh, the only good romance I made for my character was a 67-year-old cleric, and that she was already married for decades. Oh yeah, well, okay, if they were already, like, married to a character, that's fine. Like, that way you're not having, like, a flirting stage, a wooing stage, a courting stage, and, like, a marriage and betrothal and, like, honeymoon stage, you know what I mean? Like, if they're already an old couple, whatever, but especially if it's, well, then again, the NPCs are controlled by the DM, so it's not like it's, I don't know, it's just, I don't know. Oh, okay. He told Stare and I that there were rumors that he'd SA'd someone. He used the R word, which I found hard to picture, or didn't want to picture. I wonder if he did that deliberately. He used the R word knowing that even if the accusations were true, it definitely wasn't rape, so that people wouldn't believe it, you know, because it was way more serious. Turns out that wasn't even the accusation at all. It is very strange that he would deliberately misname the accusation. I guess maybe he would start off with something heavy, and then, like, when it comes out, like, oh, it wasn't rape, it was sexual harassment. People are like, oh, you know, well, that's not as bad as rape. He was trying to make it sound more ridiculous. I knew it, yep. He also said there was intercourse, which I didn't read about in anyone's story, so that's a big head scratcher. Yeah, there's probably someone else out there that hasn't come out yet. He said that her accusation was false, and that he had messages to prove it. I believed him in the moment. He made it sound like he was in the process of carrying his stuff out the door during the call, but all the women that he went after put together a really clear image that aligned with all the red flags in mine, so I'm convinced now and feel fucking skeezy for offering him comforting words in that moment. I even told him not to confront any accusers in text form, that they could screenshot later to stop with the vague Twitter posts. Moronic, I know. Well, it's sound advice to someone who's being, like, framed, but in this case it doesn't look like he's being framed. I salute the bravery of the woman who came forward and put an end to his cover. You've certainly saved other women in the future, and even though the thought of that won't undo the damage done to you, it's no small feat. It's easy to want to root for the guy that has come out of trauma to be a success, or isn't loved at home, or is charismatic and talented at what he does. I'm still rooting for him in the way that he could improve with therapy. Not a bad thing or an insult. Therapy saves lives. Cut off this Tiff hates me, face down in the dirt routine, and get his hands on a blow-up doll to make him feel like a man without leaving gaping physic wounds in real people who cared for him. But that's the thing. He can't with a blow-up doll. He needs to have someone wanting him to get off. He can't. Like, giving people the physic wounds and controlling them is what gets him off. It won't work, and that's what got him into this mess. I swear to fuck, if you put intercourse in your tabletop game, you deserve an in-real-life bonk. Yeah, like maybe if it's like a special like swingers club where everyone there is like really lonely and horny, but I don't know, because that's like a bunch of people. It's just weird. I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think it's a good idea. Even when I'm trying to think of, well, maybe in this really far out situation, nope, even then, you know? Okay, and to Tiff, if she ever reads this, the one consistent thread in his stories was always that you were the crazy one, the cold one, his jailer, throwing fits because he didn't support your stream enough, and weed makes you crazy. Was it weed? Was it weed? Remember when we were joking around when he was complaining about his girlfriend buying drugs? And then he made it sound like, oh my god, she bought drugs from his father-in-law or his father, you know? And then we were just like, watch it be weed. It sounds like it was weed. It sounds like it literally was. Because he made it sound like meth or something, like she was a raging meth head, but I guess he just doesn't like she smokes weed, which I don't either, but I mean, I think weed is a little bit different than most other behavior-altering drugs. And you were jealous of his success. Tiff has always been kind to me, so I hope she'll be kind to herself and relieve herself from the duty of his imaginary harpy sympathy scapegoat. Being his imaginary harpy sympathy scapegoat. I keep telling Stir I'm sorry for what his cheerful, supportive, years-long friendship turned out to be under the surface, and I have the urge to tell other people I'm sorry that I promoted Arcadum through my work. That's what happens when the violator doesn't take responsibility. Others rush in to fill that void. Stir invested a lot emotionally in Arcadum from what I witnessed, and I wasted a lot of advice on him as well. Although Star's always very reserved and averse to drama, Stair didn't sleep one bit the night this came out, going over past interactions with the new information like I did. I'm pissed at what's been done to Stair, my best friend, who, like many people in the story, did nothing wrong and was friends with a fiction. And to Jeremy, which is Arcadum, you can't write characters that are good and noble beings. You can write characters that are good and noble beings. You know what it looks like. You can't just look it. You have to live it. Had to have friends and not pawns. You even named your fictional world after the Latin word for truth, for God's sake. Yeah, Virum. Virum is truth, I think. She smoked the devil's lettuce, so I summoned Baphomet to punish her. That almost sounds like Onision. That's yet another similarity to Onision. Remember when he found out that one of his girlfriends, like Onision was also building a harem. He got this girl in Sarah, like I think he was talking to her when she was 16, and then like her parents were really bad parents, and he got her to live with him while she was underage. Like that's the girl, right? And then eventually when she became like, no. He did sleep with her when she became 18, which is another thing. But there was this other girl that apparently he found out she smoked weed, and like that broke a contract where she wasn't allowed to like smoke. So he said the only way to undo, like to make up for the damage she did, was to allow him to like chain her up in the basement and get a tattoo of liar on her forehead or something like that. I don't know if he ever actually like would have gone through it, but apparently he did shave other girls' heads. So yeah, I'm just saying it's really weird that like, I don't know, that's yet another parallel to Onision about this guy complaining that, you know, she smokes weed and stuff. I guess it's because maybe, if I had to guess, it's a control thing. Like he can't control like what they're putting into their body, so if he doesn't want them to, like it really drives him up the wall or something. I don't know. Contract, yeah, he had his girlfriends like sign an NDA and like a contract, I think. Like he even had the 16-year-old that moved in with him like sign an NDA after she turned 18, and he got her into a threesome with him and his other partner, and he tried to get her to like sign an NDA. It was like, Onision is also bad. Okay, but we're not here to talk about Onision. There's plenty of documentaries that do that. Okay, I'm pissed at, there is no one that will escape from this unscathed. Not your players, not your artists, not your musicians, not your editors, not your callous row producers, not your community managers, not people you've introduced D&D to, not your friends who treated you with incredible kindness only to be cut out like an infection. I may have gotten away with much less trauma than the others, but I will mourn the person I thought of you as. I'm wondering how much of our past interactions were clouded by some kind of internal duper's delight when I didn't question your stories about Tiff, or when I truly believed that your goal with your community was simply to spread the love of D&D far and wide, when you were really just creating a predator playground for yourself. Yup. The difference is Onision will never face justice. Arcadum might still face the music. Yeah, although I don't know how Fulcon is gonna like give proof to the police. All she can do is, hey, you know, this happened, please believe me. And even then, I don't think that's enough to convict. Otherwise, anyone could just go to the cops. Like, I could go to the cops and be like, hey, you know, you know, what are they gonna do? If she had gotten screenshots, which she may have just chose not to show him. If she had gotten screenshots of like her talking to him about it, but there's no way he admitted it to it. You know, he would ever admit to it. So probably not. I don't think he will. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Last up, guys, unless anybody has anything else serious for me to read about this guy, we are going to be reading Crystal Zenaida, and after that we'll get to the 90-minute call that was recorded where he was doing damage control in his Discord over something else, not this. This is before, you know, all the stories broke. I'm sure the contracts are null and void once they begin violating human rights. I don't know. I just think it's gross that he became this guardian for this, like, 16-year-old girl who had a bad home life, and then the second she turned 18, like, 3 days after, he had sex with her. That feels like, that's grooming, okay? That's what grooming is, you know, when you become their guardian for, like, 2 years, off and on, maybe, but 2 years, and then have sex with them the second they turn 18. Okay, Crystal. It looks like she's gonna debut her VTuber character. That's neat. My experience working for Arcadum for 3 years. Before I begin, I would like to preface this that I'm physically and vocally masculine presenting. As such, presenting. So, what do I call this person? Hang on, I don't want to step on a landmine. Doesn't say. In that case, I don't know what to do. Okay, I'll say they. Before I begin, I'd like to preface this that I'm physically and vocally masculine presenting, and as such... Oh, wait, maybe they're saying that, I don't know. I'm gonna say they, just to make sure. As such, I didn't receive the full brunt of what other individuals have experienced in their interactions with Arcadum. If you wish to learn about their stories, they will be in the replies to this tweet. But this here will be my story from my experience working for Arcadum as moderator, dungeon master, administrator of discipline, art director, and YouTube manager. I would also like to take this moment to apologize to those I have wronged while working under Arcadum. Under the guise of professionalism and doing the job that was assigned to me, I have hurt people and done things that I am not proud of. Oh, wait. Stream dying? Oh. Okay, I'm not seeing that we have any dropped frames. I'm at 0%. Let me check the actual... Not receiving enough video to maintain... What? Why? Not receiving enough video to maintain... Well, let me know. The second we come back, let me know. Let me know. Okay, hang on. Spreadsheets are too powerful. Oh man, is it just YouTube? Why? Is Twitch not having an issue? Because it looks like I'm not. Well, I guess I can look this up real quick. It's fine for you? It's back now? Because I'm still showing the error. Now it's okay, reopen the browser. A lot of lag for me a bit ago. Okay, if you can hear me, put ones in the chat, I guess. Or maybe just one. Okay, we're back. Suddenly I have excellent connection again. Beautiful, wonderful. Gee. Too kind. Okay, good. So I'm seeing ones. That's really nice. Okay. That's good. Okay, well in that case, I guess we'll get back to it. Sorry about that. I stopped as soon as I saw people were mentioning that we had an issue. Okay, I'll just restart the thing. Before I begin, I would like to preface this that I'm physically and vocally masculine presenting. As such, I didn't receive the full brunt of what other individuals have experienced in the interactions with Arcadum. If you wish to learn about their stories, they will be in the replies to this tweet, but this here will be my story from my experience working for Arcadum as moderator, dungeon master, administrator of discipline, art director, and YouTube manager. I would also like to take this moment to apologize to those I have wronged while working under Arcadum. Under the guise of professionalism and doing the job that was assigned to me, I have hurt people and done things that I am not proud of because I either didn't see the full picture, I was trying to be fair, I was manipulated into taking Arcadum's side on the matter, or I just didn't believe them. Regardless if I am at fault for those actions or not, they were wrong, and I will try to be better going forward. In addition, I apologize if I misconstrue any events from the early years of Virum, as I no longer have access to those logs, so I'll be working from memory. Administrator of discipline sounds like a fancy moderator. Yeah, it sounds like the person who comes out with the executioner's sword to fuck you up if you do something. Moderation, discipline, and hypocrisy. I joined Arcadum's server over 3 years ago when he was just starting out on Twitch. I found him through Stare and fell in love with his world, his skill, his ambition to create a living world. So this is a person saying they actually were good at their job. So maybe he was I guess it's just different flavors for different people. There's probably some people who others would consider a good DM that others would consider a bad DM. So I don't know, but he had to have at least a little skill to get this, right? To get this far. Fell in love with his world, his skill, and his ambition to create a living world set inside a D&D setting. I saw the potential he had and decided that he was a man worth supporting to see his passion become a reality and a success. And the more I got to know him, while the side he publicly presented, the more I wanted to put myself out there to help him through what I believed he could achieve. So I signed up to be a moderator, and that's when the first issue arose. I will not detail the names of those involved for sake of their privacy, but the situation was that we had an issue of harassment going on between two players in the living world. One of the players, whom I will label as Melanie for ease of narrative, reported an individual harassing them in their PMs, pushing uncomfortable topics and asking where they lived. Arcadum was out on a trip when this was taking place, so de facto leadership fell to Tiffany. You know what? No, we're fine. Who called for this individual... let me just preload that YouTube video really quick. While I have the... I need to, let it buffer in the background real quick. And have it on the highest quality setting. Okay, perfect. Sorry, I just wanted to do that before. Yeah. Okay, so that's coming up as soon as we finish this one. Oh yeah, it's been on loop for a while, hasn't it? Okay. The harasser... Oh, okay, wait. Melanie reported an individual harassing them in their PMs, pushing uncomfortable topics and asking where they lived. Arcadum was out for a trip when this was taking place, so de facto leadership fell to Tiffany, who called for this individual to be banned immediately. However, there was some hesitation from the mod team to act on because A, Melanie had asked for clemency for her harasser and requested that they not be banned because of her, and B, Arcadum had never told us that Tiffany would run things if he were ever absent for a fire. As such, some of the moderation team was adamant in waiting for Arcadum to return to make the final call, which ultimately was what happened. We waited for Arcadum to return to make a decision, to which we decided to ban the harasser, but give some leniency by making the ban only temporary due to the clemency requested by Melanie. The harasser was eventually banned again for doing the same thing to another user, but his whole case set a horrible precedent that sets up the event that follows a few months later, after I was ascended to the role of administrator of discipline. So they're saying this was a bad call to make? So it was a bad call to let the victim say, hey, let's be patient with them? Huh. I guess it pays to have, hard rules. I've always been terrible in that situation, so I guess I can understand. Okay. We still going, guys? Let me see here. How's the connection looking at this point? For me, it still shows that it's buffering, but hopefully that's nice and that's not the case for you guys. So far, so good. Oh, thank God. Okay, alright. Just making sure. Okay. The next situation has to do with another harasser by the name of Afro and the many victims he targeted on the server. Here's an unlisted video on my old YouTube channel that I kept for transparency and archiving for this server, which seems to have resurfaced due to the relevance of the situation, so I will link it here, as well as the document being read, a lot about what's transpiring, blah, blah. I'll read this a little bit so we have context for the video. So it's regarding Afro. As well as the document being read details a lot about what was transpiring with Afro and the other users. But to explain the moderation side of things, multiple users came to the mods to report Afro's behavior. They did so anonymously as to not make their identities potentially known to the harasser and to keep some level of bias down for some of the members of the mod team who may not like the reporters in questions should their identities be known. As such, we deliberated on the evidence provided to us, speaking with both Afro and in a private meeting, neither of which I was not present for. So she was present, because that's a double negative. I guess she means to say either of which I wasn't present for, but both Arcadum and other mods were, with the anonymous reporters. Many of us wished to remove Afro outright, but due to the precedent established by the previous case with Melanie and her harasser, we were faced with the dilemma of fairness in maintaining precedent, so Arcadum and the team decided that out of fairness to the other users also banned that Afro's ban only be temporary as well. I mean, I guess they could work that out. They have like a single warning situation where if you do something, you're temporary, but if you do something again, you're gone. Like, I can see that working, maybe? But like I said, I've never been good at punishment. Temporary, but like the previous decision, okay, so Arcadum and the team decided that out of fairness to the other users also banned that Afro's ban only be temporary as well, but this, like the previous decision, was a terrible and stupid mistake, and it came to a head when Afro returned from his ban. His victims felt like they were being forced to interact with him, and in hindsight, yes, they were absolutely right. Afro had no right being there. I see, so whatever he did was really bad then. And it was only through the pushback from the victims that he was immediately rebanned for good and policy changed going forward that such acts be intolerable. And I made sure as admin that would be the case. However, this pushback also consisted of leaks, public attacks, and other unprofessional behavior that I only see now was warranted to get Afro's ban reenacted before he could hurt more individuals on the server. So one victim who went public, the one who posted the main document in the video above, was banned. Okay, so in the video, we're going to see someone post a document. He was banned for attacking Arcadum and the mods for their decision to let Afro return. And with the victim's ban, a few of the others left with him in solidarity. Even with the ban being reinstated, the damage to Arcadum's image and by my association, my mod team and I's image was already done, and we had lost the confidence in much of the community that day, and rightly so. The situation was one I deeply regret having mishandled, and I don't think any of those involved will forgive me, but I apologize for not standing up for you all. I chose fairness over justice, and that's something I learned and hope to never repeat going forward. Both of these cases happened toward the early days of Arcadum's Twitch career, the first happening toward the end of Phase 1 of Living World, and resolving towards the start of Phase 2, mid to late 2018. So this happened way before any of the manipulation tactics happened. Wouldn't they have an out because the only reason it was temporary for the first one was the ask for clemency? That's a good point, Seabird. That's a really good point. Fairness over justice. What? Yeah, I don't. And the second case happened in Phase 2, which was early 2019. These cases serve to show the pain that the community has endured and what Arcadum should have learned to take to heart. That was the case for myself and the mod team when we removed harassers from the server without hesitance and without returning going forward from those previous cases. Okay, so they learned and they're doing better. And I thought Arcadum had also learned and grown from this experience when he booted out Cryotic, Witwix, and I Am Spoon from his campaigns. I know why he booted out Cryotic, but I don't know about Witwix and I Am Spoon. And I know now that that was painfully far from the truth, and I feel so stupid for having believed him enough from his past actions to become hesitant in believing the words of Volcana, Chica, and Cry when I first heard wind about their interactions with Arcadum. I didn't know the entire story, and what I did know was discredited by Arcadum, a master of manipulation by trade through his own admission. I can never forgive myself for not believing these individuals when they first spoke up, but I believe them now. I, among many others, will support their voices. Okay. Arcadum has had more than enough chances to become a better person, and he chose not to. He chose to double down, hide, and manipulate. He willingly did this from then to now, and if that isn't despicable, I don't know what it is. What is? But there is more to this story than just his hypocrisy. His abuse runs deep into his business as well. Let's see. Okay, so I'll use the video, I guess, as a break. We'll get to this point, I guess, halfway down, and then we can play the video. Because I can still go. My throat isn't, like, really mad just yet. But I hope you guys are doing good. Stay hydrated, okay? Much of the accounts here will be anecdotal, as there are too many instances to cite one by one, but I do have many archival recordings that can back at most, if not all, of my recounts. It pays to be professional and live in a one-party recording consent state, I guess. Regardless, my accounts are as follows. During my time as discipline admin and many of my dungeon masters within the living world, one of my main expectations was to attend weekly staff and admin meetings where Arcadum would go over the agenda of the week and assign tasks to be done. Rarely did a meeting ever go off without an incident involving Arcadum raising his voice, engaging in shouting matches, or ruthlessly critiquing the ideas and or opinions of one of his staff. Many, including myself, even chose to hold their tongue in fear of Arcadum retaliating in the way that he does. He excused his behavior as necessary, as he says that ideas need to be put through a crucible and defended on the spot by the person who proposed them. But the manner he approached this was almost always cruel, harsh, brutal, and unnecessary. The same could be said of the expectations he made of volunteers, placing unreasonable workloads and deadlines to meet, especially during the Violet arc where many RP events had to be run daily among other duties such as tracking the economy, making player items, writing mechanics, and other back-end maintenance. Man, this does not sound fun to take part in, honestly. He ran his team of entirely volunteers with no respect for their time, mental, and physical well-being. Yeah, he does tend to use people, and that's it. Let's see. He ran his team of entirely volunteers with no respect for their time, mental, and physical well-being, or other responsibilities outside of Virum. If we couldn't work as much as him, then we as a team were failing his vision, and we had to work to the bone to keep things running, for no payoff other than maybe a verbal pat on the back. The Patreon was one avenue to mitigate this, but in the entire time it was active, we were only ever paid once for a couple $100 each. Although I myself only ever got one payment from the Patreon when I became a DM, so I do not know if other payments were sent out before my time on the team. But this brings me to my time as art director for Arcadum. Would you guys do that? Would you guys become a DM, like working for Arcadum for like a couple $100? Would you do it? But this brings me to my time as art director for Arcadum, and how he approached the community of artists that congregated around his world from all manner of communities. As an artist myself, the way Arcadum treated his artists hurt me dearly, as I gradually became more and more disappointed in how many times I had to remind him to clean up his behavior and ease back his expectations of them. It was like pulling teeth to get him to stop handing out crunch orders and 1 to 5 day rush deadlines, and each time I had no choice but to submit his requests to the artists. It hurt me every single time to see the artist work so hard in so little time for something that could have been prepared weeks in advance. He even made rush orders for art that wasn't even used until 3 to 4 weeks later. I got so used to it that I had to take matters into my own hands toward the end of my career with him and add an additional week to what Arcadum was asking for, because I knew from experience that he wouldn't be needing the art within one to 3 days. And each time I implored the artist to add a rush fee for their work, and I really hope all of them did. No, you're not interested in being sexually harassed. I've always worked on the idea that you do not give volunteers tight deadlines. They're working for free, you can't expect quality and swiftness without pay. Yeah, exactly. Especially if it's regular. If they're regularly doing that, then they should at least be compensated, in my opinion. Or, like, if they want to do it, and they're the ones having the ideas and doing the thing, great, fine. But if you're like, hey, I want you guys to do this, and then a week later, I want you to do this, and then I need you to make me this, that's not really, that's almost not like volunteer work. That's just like doing regular work, but not getting paid. At least pay them in, like, really, I hate to say it, but sometimes if you're, like, one of the biggest D&D Twitch streamers, at least figure out a way to, like, showcase them. Like, have a period where you just, like, hey, put together a little portfolio, and I'll put you guys in the credits, and, you know, we'll do a slideshow with your best work and your Twitter so that people can, like, actually pay you if they like your stuff, you know. I don't know. Maybe that wouldn't have helped much, but I think it would have at least given them opportunities to move on to work they're actually being paid for. Another way he mistreated the artists was how he used them for free concept art. He would announce these huge hangout concept art streams where he would invite the artists to join him on streams so that they could draw art of ideas he had in his mind. Now, at first, it wasn't that bad. The artists were willingly volunteering their time, and they got some nice exposure to Arcadum's large community. Good. Nat20 and Luca especially rose to prominence in the community through their amazing design work on the team and on the Tiern and Hoask races. But these concept streams soon became overbearing with how often they were being set up and how their concept art was being used to promote the stream without much credit to the artists in question other than a simple, "These were made by my community." It then crossed a line when Arcadum asked me to create a channel in the unofficial artist hangout server to serve as the work channel for a secret Callous Road TV show concept art event, which info about couldn't leave the server at the time. Yeah, because like he was saying NDA stuff that I didn't even know was happening until the moment of, aside from a special event that Arcadum teased earlier in the day, I was already in bad relations with the owners of the Hangout server for not getting things cleared through them first for a prior PR event involving Arcadum and an artist's original character, so to not tell them about this event and the channel being made for it until the moment of, put both Arcadum and by association myself in hot water with them. Both the owners have since forgiven me for what happened and placed the blame on Arcadum, but one thing he had said during that meeting irked me a lot. He had said something along the lines of, "I only did this here because I wasn't sure I would be able to pay for it otherwise." What? And that is completely fucking bullshit because I've been running the numbers and managing the budget for Arcadum's art expenses, and he had more than enough to offer compensation to each of the artists who contributed to the event, and I made sure that he knew that. And after that, I made sure to offer each artist there an option of compensation on their own terms or donation, and I made sure they were paid for their work. But to do this for something as secret as an unannounced TV project where no NDAs could be signed, and using volunteer labor as a means to support a project that could bring in a large tier of financial success than what Arcadum already makes, is downright shameful and exploitative. You know what? This just unlocked a memory. Remember, we actually had this on this channel when I started streaming. I did a contest for art of Lakeview Cabin. Lakeview Valley. Remember when it first came out? I had a contest, and I think it was like the top four winners, like, or better yet, everyone could like submit art to like the Discord, and like there were some rules, like, no nudity or whatever, because I was showing them on YouTube and stuff. But like even I was able to compensate individuals, because I went out and got like, I think gift cards, Steam gift cards, and I would give them their codes for like the top 4 winners and stuff, and we had like 10 people participate, and everybody did really well, but we had voting and stuff, and then I just gave them their codes. So I don't know how he's saying he can't compensate anyone, you know what I mean? It's just kind of gross, I guess. I'll check back tomorrow. Yeah, good night, Richard. This will probably be the last stream. Of Arcadum. I'll be doing a regular horror game tomorrow. Okay, yeah, so I find it interesting that apparently this guy was making tons on Patreon and in subscriptions on Twitch, so, More than enough to compensate each of the artists who contributed to the event, and I made sure that he knew that, and after that I made sure to offer each artist there an option of compensation on their own terms or donation, and I made sure they were paid for their work, but to do this for something as secret as an unannounced TV project where no NDAs could be signed, and using volunteer labor as a means to support a project that could bring in a larger tier of financial success than what Arcadum already has, is downright shameful and exploitative. This is on top of his absolute incompetence in crediting the artists he uses for his NPC and enemy tokens. He says he tried to credit each artist by making sure the artist's signature is present in the handout art, but that is far too minimal for any sort of credit that can either barely be seen or understood by the audience, or barely be seen at all with how quickly he mouses over the art. Yeah, at least like put him in the description, although then again it's Twitch. I don't know if you have a description. The best way he could credit the artist is to make sure he shouts them out upon art reveal and or putting a label with the artist's username on the token itself, yeah. He has done both of these and is always given the info needed to continue doing it, but almost every time he chooses not to. Okay, we are at the point where I said I would play the video. Alright, you guys ready for that video? It's nothing too crazy, but it is a bit of a video where he's with his mod team. And just, yeah, 2019. August, I guess. Wait, is it August? No, August is 8. So this is July. Let me see. I'm pretty tired of all this in the gaming type community. Yeah, it's weird how these people keep getting exposed for this kind of stuff. It's really disappointing. Okay. Let me go ahead and disappear this. And this. And we don't need the credits right now, or the jar. Well, I mean, I guess we could keep it. Here we go. Alright, I guess we're ready to go. So this is the video itself. It's full screen. I've got it up to the highest quality possible, which is 720p, and it's an hour 22 minutes. We can maybe take a break halfway through if we need to, but otherwise, yeah. So this is the document, and if you remember, Crystal said that the individual that made the document was apparently attacking Arcadum, and he was banned, and a bunch of people left in solidarity, and this is all because that one guy who was temp banned wasn't perma-banned, so. Let's see. Between this and the Blizzard thing right now, it's just a bit depressing. I know, right? Well, I guess it's just a sign that it's a big community. You know, the bigger the community, the more likely that one in 1,000 is going to be a bad egg. All right, let me know if the sound is okay. I'm not going to be interrupting anything here very much, unless something crazy happens, because it's mostly just a bunch of people, mods, in a Discord, like, arguing about stuff that's happening.
Before you start, can I say something real quick before people start to leave? If anyone wishes to talk to me or hear my side of it or just question me, I'm going to be sticking around in the chat. I don't particularly have any desire to get up on the soapbox, but if anyone does want to ask me what happened in the confines of what I can tell you in the mod chat, I will be sticking around after this. I'm sorry, Sagan, please continue.
That's fine. I'd like a moment of your time.
Is there a way we can send our thanks and support to the staff? Because we know how much hard work goes in.
The best way, if you want everyone to see it, just throw it in the suggestion box, and the mods will see it, and then they'll send it up to the DMs, and the DMs will see it on their weekly Sunday. I mean, you can just also make a regular post in chat, but that is the most guaranteed way to see it, and no one is going to be mad that there is a suggestion box thanking people.
Thank you.
There's also the Patreon, which could be a good way to thank the DMs just as a whole as well. I try to donate each month, but I have to penny pinch, so.
Oh, I feel you there. I'm broke as.
Don't worry about the Patreon. It's pretty much dead at this point.
I will go ahead and say real quick that this is like a random Discord call where not everybody's voice, there's like 20 people, not everybody's voice is like perfectly volume matched to everybody else, so you may get loud people, you may get quiet people. Keep that in mind when you're adjusting your own volume, okay?
I would ask for a moment of your time, and I apologize if I come off as angry. Because I'm not, to an extent. I'm very disappointed with how this all panned out, and this is not a message reflecting of Jeremy. This is coming from me. I trust that, and I know that people appreciate the things I do, and let me tell you from experience that being told that you're right and even being told that you're making good progress is very encouraging. And I'd like to express something that you might dislike, because I see a lot of people who, for all intents and purposes, are here to watch the place burn down. Quite frankly, I have the long-standing belief of people more often wanting to be right than to be happy. If you're here spending your energy on this server wanting #justice for Enchant, or you want to be here to make memes or kick people when they're down, please, for your own health, if you're not happy here, leave, because all this, we can't make content when we're dealing with this, and for all of Enchant's concerns, and I'm not saying he's wrong on all of them, we did not know the extent of his issues with Afro, and we as DMs have, and mods, we had a 2-hour meeting about how we can prevent this from happening again, because unfortunately, we can't unhurt Enchant. And the unfortunate thing is, there were a lot of times where if people were honest with me, people who lied to my face and had been realistic, and some of these are the people who are now coming and making this an even bigger fire. If those people had been honest with me, we could have solved the situation much sooner and maybe even had helped Enchant come over this before it became this breaking point. But that's the thing. If you're not happy here, leave.
Please,
No one.
let's not go that far. I wouldn't say leave. I would say express, report to the mods if you have any reservations. Like, we can't know.
Okay, I don't. Let me clarify. If you think a problem is solvable, by all means, talk to me, talk to the mods, talk to anyone. Don't talk to your friend group in secret, because we don't know that unless someone tells us. We want to make right by you guys. And if you can't believe that, please at least believe I want to make right by you guys, because I'm going to be honest with you. I have better fucking things to do with my time, but I do it because I love you guys. And I want to make games for you. But I don't want you to stay here if you're genuinely feeling unhappy and you're only here to watch it die or to cause trouble or to be clever. Don't let what I do or what any of the DMs do keep you here, because you can have all the valid points in the world, but if you start fires, not only are you stopping that DM from making something you might love, you're also causing them problems. And if you want to cause problems for Jeremy, okay, sure. But that problem is shared by every DM on this server. And it hurts me if I could get a little Jeremy on the situation. It hurts me because I bust my ass to get stuff out, and I don't want to do it if I'm doing it for people who are just here to watch the situation burn down. Trust me, as long as you're honest about why you want to leave, I'm not going to dislike you. There's no one keeping you here. We can't punish you. I'm rambling, and it's just baffling, but this is my plea. If you have a suggestion, be honest to someone, because we want to help you, and we want to do right by you, and we have to do the best we can with the information we have. But if you're here to try and get some sense of justice, or if you're here as a reminder of our sins, please, please, do something for yourself and let it go. You spent a lot of time on this. I spent a lot of time on this. Don't let it consume you, because there are plenty of people who I'm sure will say it's consumed me and it's not healthy.
Hey, Sean.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question specifically for you.
What's that?
Or any other DM. Have you ever expressed your doubts anywhere? Have you ever thought that you're not good enough? But then someone, even in Arcadum, even in the other DM team, told you no, that's not true.
Yeah, I mean...
Because I didn't feel like I had that at all in my time as a DM. I didn't feel like I was ever good enough. I didn't feel like I could withstand anything. And in the end, I didn't feel like it was worth it. But only after I left was I told that I was a good DM. I was good at doing what I did, but no one told me that. And it's confusing. It's so confusing because I'm not sure. It's been driving me crazy for so long. Like, every single time I think about it.
Man, I wanted to give you your games.
I never knew because who knows? I don't have those doubts and I was never known that. No one told me that when I was a DM. And so I left because I thought that was a failure. At all times, because I never could be good enough for someone else so demanding as Arcadum. So I left, and only after I left, he told me he was good enough, and I don't know what to think. I don't know if he wanted me back because I did a lot of work. I don't know if he was trying to manipulate me. I don't know what kind of person is. I don't know whether to like or hate him. Because it happened at such a weird time that I could never understand what he wanted from me. And I've never seen him do that in public to anyone else. And I don't understand it. And this was supposed to be directed to Arcadum, but he's not here. And it's been eating away at me for too long.
Okay. Look, please don't take this as me trying to come down on you, because I understand that it's very emotional for you. And one of the points we made with Enchant is that only a few people knew the full extent of what was happening to him. And that was a very difficult situation because there are many times you have to choose between maintaining your own promise of secrecy, as well as balancing that against finding justice for the victim. Now, I apologize that you feel that way, and I can't recall ever seeing such an emotional plea. And while I would like to say that I would be giving you that encouragement as a DM, it would be presumptuous to say that I can say with certainty that there were times I disagreed with you. I think that's very fair. I understand this is something that is very personal and private to you. I would encourage you to try and share that.
I just want to know if he's told that to anyone else because I'm gone. I don't need it anymore. And I don't feel like I need to be manipulated by him anymore, but I know he's not here anymore. I know he's not on the voice channel, but I just want him to know that this isn't supposed to be negative, this isn't supposed to be about my opinions, it's supposed to be, he's manipulating on one.
That is very personal and private to you. I would encourage you to try and share that.
I just want to know if he's told that to anyone else, because I'm gone. I don't need it anymore. And I don't feel like I need to be manipulated by him anymore, but I know he's not here anymore. I know he's not on the voice channel, but I just want him to know that this isn't supposed to be negative, this isn't supposed to be about my opinions, it's supposed to be that I want him to let the DMs know that they're doing a good job. Because I never got that.
Taco, I will say this. When you left, the first time when you left, when we realized that you left, DMs, first thing Arcadum said is, well, shit. We have a fucking giant whole vortex that we need to fill with Taco leaving. Because you were doing a lot of work. Especially when it comes to prestige missions, that we genuinely struggled to find DMs to fill the massive shoes you left behind.
You were one of the only DMs who we could even trust to do prestige missions, so, yeah.
I should point out that Arcadum has said thank you for all that you do after some of the Sunday meetings. Not that I've been there in a while, but that just goes to show that he did it in the past, at least.
But that's not the same. You can get a participation award and they're meaningless in the end.
There are lots of things in all of our lives, including myself. I don't want to speak for Jeremy. Just me. I've made a lot of regretful decisions. I've been unappreciative to people who have helped because I've been angry. And especially with people like Blasora who... Look, Jeremy's not around. I know he's not a popular dude, and I have plenty of conflicts with him. It still wasn't right of me to yell at him because I was contributing to what you were feeling and making him feel like no one appreciates that. If you want my personal opinion, I did not ask you to come back because, much like I've said my feelings on the people who are here, I want people to be here because they want to be here and it makes them happy. I very strongly believe that we are a community, and even if you're not a DM, you're not a mod, I want people to be honest with us and let us know what they think is wrong. I want you to be honest with us. I think you can do a lot if you are a DM or a mod, but that's the takeaway I want to express, is that this shouldn't have happened, and a lot of it was because among the DMs, among people who knew, and again, this is a little skewed because it is a violation of a person's rights to go and tell someone else that they're being sexually abused. I understand that. We all need to start being very, very truthful to each other, but at the same time, there are correct ways to do it. I hope that there is an effort on Jeremy's side to help mend those fences with you, because you obviously care quite a lot, and this is obviously something you've been thinking about. If I can help you with that, I would like to do that.
The time is already gone, so there's no...
Who's having a breakdown?
Well, God damn it, Jeremy, that is not...
What? I want to help! No, like, people are gonna come...
in a bit more sensitive of a way.
Oh, okay. Let's talk, buddy.
Yes, please. I mean, I don't really like that either.
Yeah.
People are coming into my stream subbing with these messages. I should be ashamed of myself.
Well, okay, look. That's not okay either. Guys.
Like, dude, let's talk. You need to talk, I'll talk right now.
Why did you compliment me after I left it?
You did a good job. Easiest answer of my life.
But at the same time, I see things like this right here.
Things like what?
Like replying to enchants stuff, replying to someone else's stuff, and it feels like you're trying to save face, and yes, you are expressing your opinion on that, and that's fine, but I can't help but think that there's undertones of something else in it. Undertones of manipulation, like where all the DMs are being manipulated.
Explain. How do you mean?
I mean, he kind of hit the nail on the head, didn't he? Everybody's getting manipulated by him. I don't know who this rando guy is, but my god, he called it. Also, he's about to get steamrolled. He's about to get steamrolled. Holy shit. This guy, Arcadum's gonna eat him for breakfast.
Explain. How do you mean?
If I could jump in, I want to say.
Do you want to talk in private, or do you want to talk here?
I can talk here.
The only reason I came in here to do this is because apparently you were talking in here and making it public. So that's the only reason I came into on an equal footing.
Someone said to not hide anything anymore, so
okay, then don't hide. Okay, then address it. Go ahead, bud. Wait, did you ask me, just real quick, did you ask me why I never thanked you regularly? Or did I misunderstand what you asked? Or what you actually said? I want to be
never
clear.
felt like I got a genuine compliment like that one time in OOC as a DM. At least I don't remember.
I said it to you in voice, especially about the pet rules. Like you took that up on your own. You showed initiative. And I thanked you for it, and I talked you up about it. And I trusted you to do it. Because you've shown competence. You're one of the DMs that ran a lot of games. Well, you weren't like top board the most runners, but those people burned themselves out pretty quick too. You stayed consistent, agreeable. You killed a few people, but that's simply dice and some inexperience with combat balance. There's nothing wrong with that. That's salvageable too. You made mistakes just like everybody else, but you did a good job. When you left, it hurt. But I have to move forward. And that's why I may have seemed cold. It's not that I'm being cold. Every single DM that is left, with the possible exception of, well, Bag, but that is a whole other problem. But with probably the exception of Bag, I've been very thankful to have had them, even if they had a dissenting opinion. And you were definitely one of those people. I don't fill the DM team with people that agree with me. That's not constructive. And you butted heads with me in a lot of stuff because that was your job. You took your stance and you held it well. There were some battles that you couldn't win, but that's okay. You're not there to win, you're there to provide an alternative option. That's what the whole thing is about. Especially about longevity. Like the whole discussion about how long things live. Because you were playing a lower lifespan character, and you were concerned that everything that you did was pointless because your character was going to die, plus other concerns as well. And you held your ground on it, and we discussed it. You, like, this indication that just because I don't take your advice, that means it's not valuable to me is wrong.
That's not what I'm implying. I'm not implying that you never validate. I'm implying the timing of all of this. I'm implying that you yourself have said that the best D&D games you run is when you manipulate other people's emotions. And after I left, you did so many right things that there's this undertone that I can't help but think that you're just trying to do that to me again. You're trying to get me back. You're trying to make me feel better. Maybe think that it's a good idea to come back. And you know what? That's perfectly fine. But I can't help but know if it's genuine or not, or if you're just trying to save something you lost.
All right, let me be clear then. All right, When I said that, that's exactly my job. An actor's entire purpose is to manipulate the emotions of those watching, to make them feel something. Manipulation is a tool, it's not evil. And we all do it. When you show sympathy to somebody, empathy, you say words that you think will make them feel better. That is manipulation. It's not evil. And I'm not doing it because I'm trying to control people. My job as an entertainer, I have to make people feel things. I have to make them laugh. I have to make them interested. And that's what your job was too, as a DM. And the hope, specifically on manipulation, as you brought it up, is that you would see what I do and emulate it. Because regardless about how people might feel about me personally right now in this tense situation, I am a professional. I made a career out of it. There are things you should copy about what I do, and I've went into detail about them. Such as how to use wordplay to make a player believe that an idea was their own, and that you dissuade them from making a bad decision based off of just their inexperience as a player. How that you can challenge a player's suggestion in a way that makes it feel like you're not telling them that's a dumb idea, but rather giving them a better solution that they will take anyway. Or better yet, to make a player feel even more joy than they might even feel whenever they are victorious. See, these are the things that I do, and I do them well. And I'm not here. Look, if you want to come back, that's your choice. I'm not making anybody do anything. My entire system is based off of volunteered service. And, if I'm honest, that was probably my biggest mistake. I think, other than the Afro thing, which I'll probably always bear that and regret that for a while, but for the rest of my life, maybe. But the point is that the thing I should have done at the very beginning was I should have made sure I had the capital to pay everybody. Because a volunteer-based system means that people are naturally fickle, and that they are their appreciation is measured by my interaction with them rather than the paycheck given to them. Because that is a more determinable belief. And I believe also, Taco, that even though you left the team, whenever we got the payout from Patreon, I still sought you out. I gave you that thanks. Because you were a part of the team. You did a good job. And you got a piece of the pie as was promised to you. I don't know how much of this is completely in your own mind or not, but I can tell you this, that I am not that kind of person. I'm not. At least I'm not anymore. Not since the military, but that's something I've talked about many times, and it makes me ashamed of myself. But look, I'm not going to get emotional because I do have to stream today. The point is that I did appreciate you, and I showed you that stuff by doing the things that I did. I don't know how else I could have been more clear. Just to sit you down after every time and tell you personally, I don't have time to do that for everyone.
No, there's nothing to be done anymore. Just appreciate the DMs you have. That's all I'm
Taco,
going to say.
if you don't mind, would you mind me just speaking up a little bit as well? Mm-hmm. If you're alright with it.
I'm done.
Okay. Look, I'll come out and say that I think a lot of DMs would agree with this, that you are remarkably difficult to work with, Arcadum. So, in DM meetings, being a mod, any sort of part of the staff makes it very difficult to get ideas across, to do anything. And yes, it is a part of your personality, and a lot of us do have to accept that. But part of the feelings that Taco feels is that you don't receive much praise during all of it. It's a lot of criticism. And then, once you leave, and after the fact, you receive all of this praise from people, from you in particular, saying that your missions were great, that your contributions were good, that your opinion was appreciated. Yet at the time it never happened. It does feel remarkably manipulative.
That's an absolute and is incorrect.
Correct. Arcadum is right. I feel as though I have been complimented many times every time I'm in a meeting. The end of the meeting is thank you for all the... If people can't hear that, then
Yeah, at the end of every meeting, I say thank you all for your service. And of course, I'm going to thank people when they leave because they put their time forward. And for whatever reason that they left, whether it be positive, negative, based off of things they couldn't control, whatever the reason, I still thank them. And if I didn't thank them, I either didn't know they were gone or missed them somehow. The only person I specifically did not thank was Bag, and that's because he was a sociopath.
Okay, Arcadum, I'm not asking you to agree with me. I'm asking you to consider that these are the emotions that people are feeling as they're leaving. And while it might not make sense to you, and other people might have different experiences, at the end of the day, this is something that someone truly feels, because a lot of the people, the reason they volunteer on this team is because they look up to you. They believe you're a good DM, they want to replicate what you're doing, and they want to learn from you. So, having a lack of compliments, not hearing praise during the meetings, because, look, the meetings can get heated, and discussion can get heated, and people can get passionate, but at the end of the day, a lot of people do get lambasted, just tore into, and to hear the praise afterwards, it doesn't sit right with people. And I'm not saying whether or not it's right or wrong, or whether or not you should agree with me. But I'm saying consider that, because at the end of the day, with all of this, the most important thing is people's emotions. All of this is happening. Everything here, all of our issues, are all coming back down to how people are interpreting things, how people feel on the situation. And I feel that the biggest mistake we're making is we're not considering that at all. And it's making it remarkably difficult. So just, all I ask is consider that. You don't have to agree with me, you don't have to think I'm right, but take it a step back and realize that we're all emotional people, and that people are seriously hurt by the way that things are approached. That's all we need to do. Just bring it back.
So
realize.
Just so I understand your point. Your point is that you're stating an opinion based off of people's emotions, even if that opinion is marred with misinformation and is not based on facts, that I should not challenge it, that I should accept it for what it is, and that people are able to say it and not in any way actually have it be addressed. That's what you're saying.
No, I'm not. I'm not saying that. Listen, look.
Like, you're asking me to consider people's feelings. I do. Like, see, this is, if we're talking about feelings, well, I feel that the conception that I don't care about people's feelings is wrong, because that's how I feel. And
no.
I do consider what people say, dude.
I'm not saying that you're not considering people's feelings, because you do. You definitely do. But it's the way that things are approached. It's the way that people are perceiving things.
And their perception is based off facts, peep.
Yes, no, their perceptions are based off facts.
And if they get the wrong facts, their perception is therefore wrong.
Okay.
And I'm going to argue that if there's a lot of people that already have these feelings, and I have heard it from multiple people about this, then it's true. I mean, like, it doesn't matter if it's right or wrong, it's how they feel. So no matter what, it's there. There is something there that people continuously have this feeling. So I'm sorry, I can't just sit back and just continue to listen to this, because to be completely honest, like, people are feeling this, and it's a problem, because it's not just one or two people that are in this chat. There are multiple people that have told me this and have felt the exact same way. So I'm not even a DM, and I know these things. I know that it exists.
You can't please everyone.
And that's completely fine. That's completely fine. But I'm just saying that there is a group of people that feel this way. There is a group. And that group should not be silenced or have their feelings misdirected, or not even just that, to be ignored. I can't do that. I'm sorry.
I'm not saying that we should do that either, but the point is that people are pointing this at me like it's my indiscretion and my fault. And if they are doing that, so be it. I can accept that this is my fault, but when they make it based off of things that aren't true, that's the problem that I have. Like, I can understand. Okay, let me reiterate. I can understand the feeling that Taco says, I don't feel like I was actually appreciated. All right, that's a completely valid statement because that's based off his feelings. But when the statement that he was not complimented enough is said, or inferred, or in any way actually done, when I have complimented everyone the most same amount that I possibly can, that is the problem that I have. The insinuation that things happened because I willed them to happen that way is like that's. I'm sorry.
I do just want to point out real quick, in the other video call we listened to, he berated Naomi and told her that she had to be stronger and to read the room. In this case, the room is telling him that, hey, listen, we're feeling underappreciated. Our feelings are hurt constantly. And this guy's like, well, you're all wrong. It's like, come on, Arcadum, read the room.
Because I willed them to happen that way. It is like, that's, I'm sorry, that doesn't jive. And as for people's feelings, being considerate of them, I completely am. And, like, I don't...
Look.
Okay, I'm gonna say this right now. You say that you care about people's feelings. Can you give me an example?
Sure.
Give me an example.
Okay, first of all, I went and I've had private discussions with DMs, and they can reveal themselves if they wish about certain issues that have happened to them. Especially things that have happened to them, like, outside of the living world. Like, I won't name this person, but there is a DM that recently went through, like, he was severely injured and was having problems with that and asked if he could have some time off, and I was like, sure thing. And I followed up on whether or not he was feeling okay. There's other times as well, like, I remember I spoke with Taco specifically, like, one-on-one in the past about the age thing, and also other people that were allocated that. I put in extra time trying to consider how I might address the age problem based off of Taco being the champion of it. All right? And those are just the examples I could pull off the top of my head. If you want, I can sit down, go through DMs, and I can compile a list, but the point is I do. There's your examples. And if people want to reveal themselves, they are welcome to, but I won't put anyone on public blast like that.
Yeah, but one thing that you don't know about that happened is I did champion. I fought really hard for that, and after that I cried for 2 hours under my desk. Okay. Because it is hard to talk to you because you're harsh. I remember, this is the reason I left. I don't know if you know this. You probably do because you're not dumb. But I left because of something emotional. I made a mistake, and you had to fix that mistake, but it came down really, really hard on me that I was depressed for 2 days straight. I didn't smile, I didn't laugh, even when other people were in company, and I just sat there questioning why until I broke, and then I left.
Look, man.
Because
okay, let him finish.
To everything. Like, I saw your attempt at empathy, at sympathy, and it was simply saying this wasn't targeted at you.
That's because it wasn't.
Yeah, that's supposed to make me feel better.
Look, dude, I don't have the ability to make you feel anything like that. I can attempt to help. I can help it, but I can't go into your mind and make you happy. I can't do that, especially if I don't interact with you. You say that you went and you cried under your desk for 2 hours. Did you call me during that time?
You heard me crying in the voice channel.
I didn't hear that. Did I address it?
No, you didn't.
Well, then I didn't hear it. I didn't know that, dude. Come on, you have to be reasonable. Like,
Okay.
what?
Do you hear how my voice sounds right now?
Well, yeah, I know you're emotional now, but you've also gotten emotional in the past, but that doesn't mean that you're in a fetal position under a desk, my dude.
Okay.
Like,
hold on. Slow down. All of us slow down. This is not the right way to deal with it. As I said before, we're all emotional people. We all...
I raised my voice. I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry.
Okay,
I just...
yeah, we all need to deal with this in good ways. I know, Arcadum, I know that you know you're difficult to work with. You've said it multiple times, and you agree with it. But a case like this is a prime example of why it can be difficult to have a discussion with you. Because, and I know why you want to do it. You want to defend yourself. Multiple times you have helped people. You've talked with them, you've tried to do your best. But it comes to a point where you just need to accept it. Take it as a chip on your shoulder. I know that you want to let everyone know, scream out loud, all of the things that you've done to try and help people, and all the things that people don't see behind the scenes. But at a certain point, you just need to say, "I'm sorry," and you don't need to jump to the defense.
So you think I should say I'm sorry about something I don't believe that I've done wrong?
With all due
No. I want him to answer. You think I should say I'm sorry even if I don't believe it? And I'm not saying that I didn't do anything wrong. I'm not saying that, Luca, before you add ellipses. I'm saying that... I don't mean to be angry. I'm sorry, I'm very emotional as well. Let me reiterate. If somebody's feelings, as you have offered, are produced of something that I do not believe that I have done wrong in, do you think I should apologize for it?
I believe that when we're all in an emotional state like this, it's about stepping back and going, okay, so someone feels hurt based on what I've done or what I haven't done. You could have done nothing, and someone still feels hurt by your actions. Taking a step back and looking at itself, examining it, and believing, and thinking.
Right,
okay,
and that will happen anyway. I'm asking you, do you think I should apologize? It's a yes or no answer, man.
Yes, going back and saying, I'm sorry that you feel hurt, and you empathize. You don't have to agree and believe it, but take a step back and just empathize that you're different people.
All right.
Different people from different backgrounds, different beliefs. Just take a step back and realize I've hurt someone. I don't believe that what I did was wrong, but in some way it hurt them. And then I need to rectify that.
Even if I did not actually make it happen, you believe that I can rectify it? I'm just asking a simple question.
May I interject?
Go ahead.
You do not apologize for your actions. You do not apologize for what you did. You apologize for how it affected someone else. You're not apologizing for what you did. You're not apologizing for how things are happening. You're apologizing how what happened hurt a person. That's what you apologize for. You can do something that is completely justified and understandable and hurt people, and you are responsible for people who are hurt, even if it is irrational or it shouldn't have happened like that. They were still hurt, and that's what you have to apologize for.
Okay, so the intention is that I don't apologize on fault, that I apologize for their state of mind. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that you have to acknowledge that a person was hurt, and
I'm acknowledging that, but I'm asking, do I need to apologize
by
for it?
saying, I am sorry that my actions hurt you. I did not intend for them to hurt you.
Okay, I have done that.
But you don't defend yourself. You just... Because that looks like you're not apologizing.
Okay, let me explain why I defend myself.
I understand.
Do
you don't have to defend yourself about defending yourself.
No, I don't think you understand.
Very well.
I defend myself because I want to solve the problem.
Impossible.
Not always.
Okay, look.
And so, no, let me finish. Okay, if somebody says this happened and I feel sad because of something that happened, even if I don't feel that I've done anything about it, I can apologize for how they ended up that way, and then go into the fact I did this because the intention is that if I can find the critical point in which it happened, then I can address it appropriately and maybe prevent it from happening again. I want to solve the problem, not offer I don't even know what to really call that, like acceptance that it's there. I want to solve the problem, even if that is impossible. That's why I'm doing that kind of stuff. That's why I'm saying those things. But you know what? You guys are right. I am neither skilled enough to do it apparently, or I lose focus. Maybe it's just a lot too much all at once. So I'm sorry to everyone here. I'm sorry that I am difficult to work with. I am sorry that in my attempts to do pretty much anything, someone gets hurt. And my inability to, rather, I should say my failure to appropriately express my sorrow in how you feel. And then apologize for it. And if people are talking about emotions, can I express my own? Is that all right?
Go ahead.
The living world has made me miserable for the last year and a half. I wake up to negativity. I wake up to, and let me finish, all right? I'd like to finish my emotional explanation. And the reason that it does, it has nothing to do with what D&D actually is. It's to do with drama. Constant drama. And it has not only affected me like professionally, it's affected my marriage. But why haven't I ended it? Because I care about all of you. That I would rather walk through the fire and get to the other side. That's where my emotions are. I mean, every time one of you leave, it fucking hurts. But somebody's hot micing and it sounds like you're drinking bottles. Like, what the fuck's going on?
I believe that's Seth.
Oh, sorry about that. I realised I didn't mute and I put a jacket on. No, it's remarkably cold in Australia right now. But anyway, we're getting sidetracked, sorry.
But to be clear about it, from the leadership standpoint, everything that I do is watched under a microscope. And that's all right. That's a part of it. So I could do 100 things right, do one thing wrong, and that's all people will care about. And that's it. That's all they will care about. And that's okay, because that's human nature. I'm not going to change human nature. All right. It's not going to happen. But it still hurts. But see, the thing is I don't get to have these moments. I don't get to placate to people's humanity. I don't get to. I don't get to go into a public forum and express to everybody how miserable I am, because you all look to me to be a leader. And if I show a lack of confidence, and if I show that I don't believe in things or any of that, then everything else falls apart. And the burden of that is intense every day. And not only that, but I also have to stream, and I have to maintain an entertaining persona. I have to do these things and portray myself as this, because if I fail, all of you lose. If one of you fail, you can leave. If I fail, everyone leaves. Everyone loses. I wake up to that fact. I look on Discord with that fact. I stream with that fact. That's how I feel. I feel that I am doomed to fail at the thing that I am best at. But yet I have to maintain a forum where people can speak about the things they disagree with. And because I'm trying to do the best that I can, I have to make sure that no weak ideas are used. And if that makes me difficult to work with, I definitely see that. And as I say weak ideas, I mean any idea, even ones that I propose, and they've been shot down too. The reason that I act this way is because I cannot act another way. I have to be hard. If I'm soft, it fails.
I'm sorry you feel that way.
Like if I lose, I mean, I know what we just discussed, and while I do appreciate you apologizing to me, I do not believe you have to. Because I chose this. Your feelings I will apologize for, and I'll do it and I'll believe in it. But you do not have to apologize to me. And you know why, Taco? Because you stepped up. You did the work. You offered to take some of my burden away. You will never have to apologize to me. That goes the same for every single DM, even the ones that hate me. That goes for the mods too. Anybody that looked and said, I want to help, will always have my respect. Because to me, that means more than any fucking kind word. Talk is cheap. Action isn't. And that's the way I look at that.
So, honestly, what I'm hearing from this and you saying that is that you've put up this act for so long that it feels like, to me, that you've lost part of your humanity.
No, I wouldn't say it's that extreme.
Part of you has lost yourself from being this hard leader, if you will, that you've lost a part of empathy. And I'm going to tell you why I think, for me, and maybe some other people, find it difficult to come to you or come to their problems and express your opinions. It's because multiple times you have said that the only opinion that matters is yours. So why should someone talk about their opinion when you continually say that your opinion is the only one that matters?
I say that because of the way that this leadership structure has to exist.
Why does it have to exist that way? You continually say...
You want me to explain why?
No, let me talk.
Okay.
You continually say that you have all this burden on you. However, you have also said that you want to keep it democratic and that you want to lift some of this burden from you. You can do that by delegation. However, you still want to have your hand into every single little piece of this because, it's your baby, However, the stress has gotten to you and you don't want to let go of that baby. So you don't want to delegate, but also you have this stress piling up. And it's just not healthy. What you're doing right now is not healthy.
Well, as I suppose that's true. The amount of health or unhealthiness certainly has degrees, but it's the job I chose because I'm not good at anything else. So, and it'll always be that way. I mean, that's what a DM is. A DM is the person in charge of everyone else's entertainment. Yeah, they're not the only one doing it, but they're in charge of it. And it's always going to be a leadership position. So even if I didn't do the living world, it'd still be that way. I mean, do you have any idea how much of a cracking pressure it was to run for 3,500 people that didn't know me when I ran Baru's game? that if I make a mistake, my career could be ruined because those people will tell their friends and do their friends and out of context and all of that. That's why when I made that Japan reference, I was beside myself because I fucked up. I don't know if anybody actually saw that stream, but that's how paper thin my margin of error is.
Hey,
if I'm honest, I know that probably in about a year, a lot of you are gonna hate me, and there's nothing I can do about it. And you know how I know that? Man, now I'm getting emotional, dude. I ran for 500. Let me calculate it. Let me actually calculate this.
519.
Thank you. I ran for 519 people.
He's told this stupid 17.8% story so many times that one of the other people was able to memorize it and actually say, yeah, you've run for this many people. Like, he's said this so many times.
Over the course of my 9 years as a professional DM, do you know how many of them actually talk to me? 7. Now, is that a demonstration of me being an unlikable person? Is that a demonstration of me being a hard ass? Them not liking the game? Them losing touch? There's various degrees of all of that. But the point is that out of 519, 7. Well, technically 9, but they've went down. So yeah. It could be unhealthy, but it's the only thing I'm good at. And I want to do it. I want to. See, I'm not doing this as a bide for sympathy. I want to be clear. I don't want your sympathy. That's not the point. Because the point to me is that being sympathetic to me, although appreciated, doesn't solve the problem. Because to me, the problem is solved by me overcoming adversity. Just because it hurts doesn't mean I stop. Just because it's hard doesn't mean I do it. And I'm not going to. That's what the whole point of me saying that was during that stream. Isn't to say that I'm gonna say that my opinion is so far above everyone else's that I won't listen to anyone else. I say that because of the hierarchy structure. And I'll tell you right now, the reason why we have that is because decisions have to actually be made. And I've been in other living worlds. I've been in other instances that ran by council, and they stagnated hard. You could also make the argument that I bottleneck things. And while that was certainly very true at the beginning, I have since then made, in my opinion, very, very careful and meticulous efforts to relieve that bottleneck. I made people in charge of different divisions. I gave them things they could add to the world. To use Taco as an example, since he was the most relevant to this discussion, when he said, hey, I want to do the pet rules, I let him. That's an example of me designating work and rewarding initiative. But you're right, it is my baby. It's my world. It's the one I made since I was 13. It's my soul. And it's it's hard, and once again, this isn't accusatory, and I suspect to a smaller degree it may be a problem with World Anvil, but I got to look at the stats as I've made the lore, and many people in the living world didn't read it. The page views are very small. They just. And I don't know if that means that they didn't know where to find it. Maybe they're role players with ROLL. There's different types of people, but the constant threat that the world I made may not be good enough is also there.
Hey, Jeremy.
Anyway, that's all I really have to say, I guess.
Can you hear me? I haven't used Discord in a while.
I can hear you at least, Dimitri.
Jeremy. So I have to actually run in about 9 minutes. I'm gonna make it short. Listen, despite everything that's happened, I still consider you a friend, and I want you to be successful. And at one point, several points, you actually hit the nail on the head. You're an amazing dungeon master, probably the best I've ever had the pleasure with. But you're not a manager person. But what you are doing is you're managing a lot of people. And you're trying to set yourself up as a strong leader position. But most people don't see you as this infallible leader person. They see you as a streamer, as a dungeon master, and it's okay to make mistakes. I ended up speaking to a couple of people that are on the mod team, and the thing that hurt them the most during your stream was when you took the moral high ground. Up until then, when you were just said, I fucked up, they were happy. And I think it's okay for you to make mistakes and show that weakness, because people are forgiving so long as you are putting yourself in a position to be forgiven. And people are okay with you making managerial mistakes. And you know what? That's something you can work on. You can't manage this many people by yourself. Most people that have any experience in management at all will tell you about 15 is the amount of people that you can directly kind of keep a pulse on. And then after that, you need managers for them. It's not your fault. It's not your failing. That's just how things are. And people aren't going to be upset about you if you just say that, like, this is something you tried your hand at and you messed up. It's okay. You can you want to do better. You know you can do better, but maybe consider what you can do yourself to change how you're approaching to things, instead of looking at how others are perceiving you. And I sincerely hope that you are able to recover from all of this.
I'm
get back to enjoying what you do.
Dude, I'm confident I will. This isn't the first time this kind of stuff has happened. I mean, I've had people telling me my whole life that I was wrong. And look, my personality is deeply rooted in the experiences that I have had, as it is for everybody. And when someone tells me I can't or shouldn't do something, I don't look at that like they do. I do it because, man.
Did he just sort of admit that when people tell him no, he just does things anyway? Because he just doesn't respect no.
To me, the greatest challenge is to succeed where others have failed. And I've done that consistently in my life. So I'm not going to stop doing that because we hit a hard wall. I'm going to break the fucking wall. Because that's who I am. And I know that many of you, for various reasons, may have seen that and, don't believe me. I will tell you this. I deeply regret what happened with the sexual harassment. I was not equipped to deal with that properly. And I made a bad call. And I will remember that for the rest of my life.
I want to say something about that. I really hope you do learn a lesson from the Afro stuff. Mainly because in my opinion, the choice you made was months late. It should have been the choice you made in the beginning, and the fact that you used precedent with Cynic was wrong. Mainly because those two situations, the contexts were completely different. Cynic was naive. I don't believe he knew what he was doing.
I'm aware of what I did wrong. I'm not sure why you're repeating it.
Oh my god! Arcadum, shut up! He can't take it at all! I'm aware. I don't know why you're bringing it. Ugh, this guy.
was doing.
Dude, I'm aware of what I did wrong. I'm not sure why you're repeating it. Like, I already said I'm going to learn that lesson.
And everyone else to hear it. That's why.
They've already heard it, mind you.
Like,
I don't believe everyone has.
oh, then I'll tell people what happened. I mean, I already addressed this on stream, and there's a place for people to go to look at it. So, like, go ahead, say your piece. Go ahead.
So with Cynic, he was naive. I don't believe he knew what he was actually doing. Whereas with Afro's situation, he knew what he was doing and he was being predatory in nature.
I do not agree with that assessment at all.
How so?
Because he was looking because Cynic was looking for addresses.
Cynic was doing some creepy shit.
Cynic literally went to people and said, "Where do you live? I want to move to the United States from Poland so I can live really close to you and see you."
So, if we're talking degrees,
he didn't understand social boundaries.
Can I
yeah,
say
go ahead,
something
Tiffany.
about
Go ahead,
that?
Tiffany.
I was involved with that. That happened when Jeremy was away, and there was evidence brought, and it alarmed me greatly. I would not want anybody to feel what that person felt and how I felt. I assessed the situation. I took the evidence brought to me, and I felt that he was dangerous because of the things that he did, the steps he took. He was escalating to a point where I feared him. And I can't imagine what the other person would have felt. And even if the person that had it happen to them wanted leniency, I felt that person should not have gotten leniency. I don't think anybody on this fucking server should have leniency against sexual harassment, sexual assaults, anything like that.
And I agree.
Okay.
All right.
I made a bad call, and the reason I showed leniency is because the victim asked me to.
For which one? For Afro or for Cynic? Obviously for Cynic.
For Cynic. And because of that, and I've already explained this, because of that, I wanted to go by precedent. Because I wanted to be fair.
Wrong.
And I agree with that. And yes, I agree with you, Spiff. I agree with you. Because what I should have done is just ban the scumbag.
Yes, it should have been a lesson learned and not precedent. And here's my thing, Arcadum. This in this entire interaction, I think this is the pivotal moment in your career that could sink it. You could lose your integrity and you can lose your reputation, depending on what you do with it and how you continue.
I mean, my integrity is... I believed at the time I was doing the right thing, and I mean, how is that an adverse to my integrity?
Yeah, I don't agree with that. This is something Arcadum is doing for us. This is something he's giving us. You know, we should be thankful that we're getting this.
Also,
all Arcadum has to do is snap his fingers and it's gone. His problems are done. I don't see how this is, inflecting on his integrity.
Also, ever since he's made that announcement, the people who have been the most hardline about this have only accused him of lying and doing it to save face. So now you're saying that this is his choice to save his career, but no one believes that he's making the right decision for the right reasons. So that's part of why this is a stressful, confusing situation.
Mm-hmm.
And also, for what it's worth, I was very inconsiderate. Someone who was also directly offended by this gave graciously everyone the chance to talk and has not been able to actually defend themselves.
All right.
Could we have a moment for that?
Oh, yeah, sure.
For who? I'm sorry. I was wiping my fucking eyes.
It's me.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to give everyone the chance to talk to me personally and ask their questions or whatever they wanted to know about the enchant situation, since I was called out so personally and so viciously. If anyone wants to know my side, I will tell it to the degree that I am able to based on what is secretive in the mods.
I assume it's to protect the victim.
But yeah, there were just some things I wanted to address to say my side, I guess. I don't know who gave Enchant this information, but half of it, from what I am reading, is incorrect. Sorry, I'm bringing up the document now so I can figure out what my talking points were. Oh, first I want to address the forbidden action I took. I don't know how he got that, considering that was done in a private DM channel with me, Devil, and Seabreeze? There was another person. I'm sorry, I don't remember who it was.
I believe I was in that channel.
Man, I haven't seen Seabreeze in forever. Is he okay?
He's still playing.
Okay, I was like, where is he? Like, I'm sorry.
He was just in the game.
I haven't seen him. I just worried about him. Anyway, continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Peep was in that channel, but I believe it was after the fact. I believe it was more read this history. There was someone else there that was a player. I don't remember who it was. I used a siren song to kiss That is as far as it went. And that, yes, I did not go to him and get specific permission, but that was my fuck up. I fully admit that happened. But our characters were already flirting. We had already talked about it. Sealy, I did not ask specifically, can I do this thing? And got in a specific yes. So that was on me, but that was the context. And the other people who were in that chat, including Peep, including Devil, can tell you that a kiss is as far as it went. So that is part of what I wanted to address, because I feel like, yes, I screwed up, but it was nowhere near to the level that it was accused of me. I would also like to put out there that, because this is public knowledge, I feel anyway now, most of Enchant's thing is I was biased against them. I didn't know who the harasser was. Most of the mods didn't know, who the victim was. Most of the mods didn't know. They chose to report anonymously. I believe they reported to Jatiri. Jatiri gave us a screenshot with their names blacked out, and the rest of the mods can, I believe maybe Chica and Jatiri knew, and maybe Crystal. I did not know. There was no way for me to be biased. And there was a point where people were saying that I pushed for a 3-week ban of Afro very hard. Yes, I did. I pushed that in the very beginning, before we had real evidence, and that was my suggestion of, let's do this now while we're gathering the rest of the evidence. And other people did want to ban him outright, and I will say my and other people didn't want to, and I fell in the middle of, let's get rid of him for a few weeks while we gather this. I will say that I did not defend Afro with my life or anything else, and I will say that the mods can tell you this or not, that I recused myself from a lot of the conversation involving him, because I did, before this happened, have a personal friendship with him outside of games where we would play Final Fantasy together or what have you. So I did the best I could to remain not biased. Now, I think the problem is, when I speak, I am passionate. I don't think that is a bad thing. And I don't think that I am not unable to have my idea changed. I am passionate, I am not unmoving. Quickly, as part of the RP, that was something that happened in Phase 1. I wasn't even a mod at the time. I had no power to do anything to enchant. I said I didn't like the way the RP happened and asked if it could be retconned. Yes, that part is true. Because he went out and told a major character secret that was supposed to be something very special between my character and another one. This was announcing my character's pregnancy. It was her first one. And after IC figured it out, he went into the common room and announced it to the father and a bunch of other people, and I was upset. And I said, hey, can we retcon this? I don't like this. This was not really your place, and I'd rather preserve this RP. Was that wrong of me? I don't know. Probably. I feel I had the right to go to him and express my opinion that he got in the middle of something that was supposed to be such a great RP when he wasn't involved with it at all, aside from being the medic that told my character she was pregnant. And I did not flame him in open chat. We did discuss it because we were all talking about it in open chat, and maybe he did leave at some point. That was in Phase 1. I'm not going to claim to remember, but I did not flame him in open Coven chat. Sorry, I almost said World Wanderers chat, and I'm like, no, wrong.
Yeah. I remember this happening. I don't remember specifics, but I definitely remember reading this.
If it's alright for me to interject the one within.
Sure.
I will say, look, overall, no matter what people's opinions on this, because the story that you will hear will be different from no matter what side you listen to. Every time will be different. But the thing we've got to look at is that as a mod, having a friendship with someone with decision making, there is a bias in that. Whether or not you believe you brought that personal bias into it, or whether others believe that you brought the personal bias into it, at the end of the day, we all need to look at this situation and go, okay, there is a bias in this, and we want to do our best to have the mods be the unbiased, independent ones that make the decisions here, right? You want them to be the jury, the ones that look at all the evidence and judge whether or not it's good enough to go up to the admins or Arcadum. And there was some bias in this. Now, depending on who you hear it from, it will always be different. And honestly, at the end of the day, I don't think the details are as important as the perception. And people perceive bias.
Well,
So
that
we
is
need to deal
why
with that.
I wanted to point out, yes, you can say I was biased for Afro. You cannot say I was biased against Enchant. Because until yesterday, or the day before yesterday, I did not know it was Enchant at all.
At the end of the day, those details aren't as important. All we need to do is look at the overall situation and say, okay, so that was the issue that we can interpret with here, and that the issue that people that feel they were victimized by this, they saw that you were possibly biased in your decision making, and that they were, had their power taken away by that. And whether or not you agree with that doesn't necessarily matter. It's just how they perceived it.
It's not entirely a fair assessment. I was in that mod meeting because this is something that matters to me. She was not the only one who wasn't on the we fuck at look, I don't know how to. She was not the only one expressing those types of opinions that Enchant disagreed with. But I would argue that the fact that she was the only person other than Jeremy called out by Enchant, it seems to be either a bias on his part that he seems to exhibit, or a bias on the part of whoever came to him and told him what had happened in the mod meeting, because he can't see that. He's not a mod. Someone who is a mod or a DM told him that. So it's not an unfair accusation to say that hey, we should try to prevent mods that have bias in those meetings, even though I think both times there were mods that had actually been harassed by those people they had to pass judgment on, and no one thought that was a problem. Which, this is still on the assumption that, we have to give them the benefit of the doubt until we're proven otherwise. But there's also that on the other side of why just one person and not the other people who, when they did not know the full situation, which only a few people knew that Enchant was fighting against his abuser, there were people, including myself, who were of the opinion of, oh, well, he shouldn't be breaking rules.
1 second. Gunslinger, are you still in here?
No, he left it.
He left the server.
Oh, okay. Well, let me thank him for his service.
Well,
PM him real quick.
Gee, I wonder.
Yeah, it's not like you can because he's still.
Hey!
Anyway, the point is, there were lots of people that agreed with the idea that bullying is not an acceptable solution to a problem until we learned the specifics of the situation when we all stepped back and reviewed it, and that would have come across a lot quicker and a lot less painlessly if it had been delivered in a much more calm way. And I say that as a failing of the people who knew that. But, as I've stated before, it was in a respect to try and keep Enchant's name private. So it is a tragic accident that he was accused of being the sole perpetrator in that Afro situation.
Okay, so I know that we've all gotten a lot of emotions out there, but look, I made a mistake. I won't make it again. I'll keep improving, and I'll try to make the living world a better place. I'm not going to give up on it. If I was going to end it, I would at least let the phase finish out, because there are many of you that have been in this game for years, and you have a lot of stuff that you want to get to the conclusions of, which is why I asked for everybody who was Prestige 3 to start thinking up what their goals are so that I could provide their ending storylines, whatever they should be, that I would write myself. But anyway, the point is that I want us to get over this. I want us to move forward. Because if we don't, it'll stagnate and just continue to poison everything else and new people, and that's not what we want. Not if we want to grow. Not if we want to be successful. So I'll say it again. I am sorry for anybody's feelings that were hurt, or that felt that I was indifferent or uncaring, or any of the myriad of other things that they may feel in a negative light. And if anybody feels anything positive about me, I have a very bad case of imposter syndrome when it comes down to that. I don't think I'm worthy of it, because honestly, what I do is like breathing. I like this stuff, and that's why I do it. Trying to make a living out of it is just a requirement of my existence, and only your goodwill can make that happen. And I'm not ignorant of that or uncaring of that. And that's what I want. I want everybody to be happy. Everybody won't be, but I want them to be. So that's what I want to kind of end all this on, is that the mistakes were made, we'll fix it, we'll move forward. I heard you, and I listened. And I will attempt to change for the better. But, on that same token, you have to be open to it. Because anyone that expects me to change and they themselves do not change, that's not how it works. Because as I will change, the things that we do will also change. And therefore, your perception will have to change. So keep that in mind as well. I guess that's pretty much it. I really do have to get back to streaming.
Yeah, go. Does any one within? Is there anything else you'd like to say, since you were bought into this to basically the same level?
No, not really.
Is Duke in here?
God damn it, Jeremy.
Really?
What? I'm sorry. Please go. I'm sorry.
I think
My-
Remy just wanted to go ahead and continue to say her piece.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, at this point, everything got derailed. I pretty much said what I wanted to say. Unless anyone has anything to say to me, I'm good.
Okay. I just wanted to ask if Duke was in here because he also had shit to, talked about him, and if he was here, I wanted to give him a chance to address it if he wanted to. That's all.
He is, but he's also in a ranked game of League, so
okay then.
He may not be able to talk.
Well, if he wants to, I'm sure he can. I just wanted to make sure that everybody got a fair voice. Anyway, I got to get back to it. Thank you to all of you that have supported the Living World, that have played in it. To DMs, DMs.
Nice.
I was muted. Sorry, I was saying stuff that whole.
Okay. Well, I'll let you address it after because I really got to get back to it. Look.
Yeah, go ahead.
Look, you're part of the community we built together. And you're a part of my life, and I'm thankful for the people that are a part of my life. I can't promise that I will always be as kind and affable as you want me to be, but I will try, and that's the only thing I can really give you is I'll try, because that's all I can really say. I can't guarantee anything. I can guarantee you that I won't make the same mistake I did before on that harassment stuff, but as for being more approachable and all of that, I will try to change. I will try to be more open, and I am sorry. And yeah, I guess that's it. I have to get back to streaming. Thank you to everybody that's in the living world that has supported me, to the DMs present and the DMs past and the DMs that are yet to come. And I want to also thank Tiffany for helping me to burden the emotions that I didn't share and that I don't share. Because she's the one that I go to. You know? Yeah. All right, anyway, I got to shake this off cuz I got to do some shit. Have a good day, everyone. I hope to see you in chat.
Have a good stream. Oh, bye.
Spoiler alert, he did not change. Nothing was solved, and he just, oh wait, hang on. And he just basically gave his girlfriend a horribly hard time. So, sorry to spoil the Arcadum arc for you guys, but that's sort of where we are. Alright, we are just about done with the stream. I'm gonna finish off with Crystal's reading. So, let me go ahead and get the background set up, and... Okay, I had to turn it up a lot for that call. Let me know if I've got the music too loud or too quiet. I'm trying to adjust the volume so it won't be loud. Please tell us that ASMR guy has a channel. Man, I don't know, but if he was a DM, I'd want to join the game because he seemed reasonable, he was polite, he tried to... That's what a good DM is, you know, he saw things from people's perspectives, and when they had trouble expressing it, he tried to translate it in a way that Arkham could understand. Kudos to that guy. Those are the people that should be getting, you know, success and stuff. People who like clearly understand what's going on and try to de-escalate, but also explain, and not just like sweep people under the rug when it doesn't fit the narrative. Trying to treat your people like people is too difficult to him. Yeah, they're numbers, man. They're logistics. They're logistics. He's that great character from the filler arc that you wished was included in the main arcs, right? His name was... what was his name? Let me see real quick.
And...
His name was... I saw it a second ago for if anyone wants to find him. It was like Paleosaur or Peladon. Oh, here we go. Peep. Cephalop something. I believe that was the guy. So, whatever became of him, I don't know. He'll have to reach out to people who were active. Let's see. Okay, so we are back at Crystal's Twitlonger. This is the final one. We're gonna go ahead and read this and just go ahead and end it. Thanks for making it this far. Okay. Just according to Keikaku. Translator's note, Keikaku means plan. My own exploitation. Now I will discuss how Arcadum has treated me and my professional positions. As I mentioned previously, Arcadum frequently made crunch orders and rush deadlines from the artists I organized for him to take on official work in my spare time prior to being assigned the role of art director. And because of those orders, I constantly had to stay up to the most ungodly of hours to make sure that the artists could get the feedback they needed in time to get their work done by the deadline. It got to the point where I needed to wake up every hour and a half to make sure I could both give feedback to the artists and maintain some level of sleep. It was exhausting, but I did it for the artists to make sure they would be paid for their work and for those that put their soul into it. Make sure their piece was made into merch so that they could get additional income for their effort, although the merch side of things with Novo.tv is a complete separate fire with its own host of practices unfriendly to the artists they sign contracts with. Not to mention, early in my career as art director, I had to remind Arcadum to constantly pay his artists. It got so bad that I had to pay some artists in Arcadum's stead out of my own pocket to make sure that they could pay for bills on time, money that was never reimbursed to me despite logs visible to him saying that I did so. All of this I did out of contract and without pay. Unbelievable! She had to remind people to pay Arcadum, and then, when he didn't, she had to, fish out of her own pocket. Yikes. I invested around over 1,000 of my own money to the artists of the server to make sure that they were happy and well treated when Arcadum couldn't bother to take the time out of his day to do it himself. Which brings me to my next point. Arcadum loves to drag his feet. Months he has told the admins of his server that he would be paying them for their work, and it took me venting to Tiffany back in March to actually see any payment negotiation take place regarding my positions as discipline admin, art director, and now YouTube manager. 3 positions that require a lot of time commitment to always be available and severely limit my choices should I seek additional work outside Virum. I was so in deep and mission critical to his business that I expected at least to be paid market standard for at least one of these positions. But for all 3 positions, a low-balled salary of only $1,500 a month, pitiable for a full-time position and barely scraping by minimum wage for a part-time. Now I will say I accepted this because in a pandemic I had nowhere else to turn to because I was unvaccinated at the time. I didn't want to risk the welfare of my family or my own, so I had to take that income I could find. But I will not lie when I said I felt exploited, knowing how much he spent on art, how much he spent on his stream, how much he earned from his YouTube, that I and the YouTube team helped him through blood, sweat, and tears, reach an ad revenue of $10K a month from $800 a month within a span of 4 months. He never talked to me about a pay raise, and I was never in a position to ask for one, knowing how vulnerable I would be if I did. The only thing he ever did was pile more work on me, manage an animated series, find screenwriters, and what hurt me the most, do his dirty work in explaining to my friend and fellow director in Virum while she's being removed from a position she, like myself, devoted so much time, dedication, and love to. And yeah, that happened because Tiffany found out about the sexting. Yeah, it's almost like he just uses people and he really doesn't care about their benefit at all. Unless he has to. The last straw. Back on Tuesday, August 24th, 2021. This is right around the time that his girlfriend found out and he started editing old messages and removing people that he had known and been a part of. So, August 24th, 2021, I had learned from Tiffany that she and Arcadum had split for personal reasons, not knowing at the time what exactly was going on or how terrible the situation really was, but wanting to respect their privacy and of my support to both their endeavors regardless of a natural split that can happen in a relationship. I reached out to Arcadum and let him know that I would be there to support him should he need anything. He later messages me at 2 a.m. in the morning to tell me, let me see. Okay, sorry. He later messages me at 2 a.m. in the morning to tell me to re-add Kelly once he talked with Tiffany. And, okay, so Kelly Siren was the first Twitlonger we read. She was, I believe, music director, and she was an individual who participated in sexting with him after he, whined his way into it. And she was one of the ones that Tiffany found out about, so he booted her and basically fired her. to tell me to re-add Kelly once he talked with Tiffany, and so I made note of that. But then Kelly reaches out to me because Arcadum said to her that I would explain what happened. I was never told anything and tried to console her and support her through what was going on, but I didn't understand myself why she was being removed in the first place, and so I waited and waited and waited all night to see if Arcadum would give me the heads up to re-add Kelly, but he never did. So I took actions into my own hand and re-added her myself, as I saw no issue in doing and did not believe she did anything wrong to warrant removal. To leave her out would cause more harm than good to the work process she provides and oversees as the music director for Virum. And I made it clear to Arcadum that what he made me do was very unprofessional and unbecoming of my role in his business. What follows is the most flip-flopping I have ever seen. I wake up to see that Kelly has once again been removed. He then calls me to explain himself that Kelly and the other girls that were kicked from Virum needed to be removed because Tiff demanded it. Now, that didn't sit right with me because Tiffany herself had said she didn't want anyone's livelihood to be affected by their relationship issues. Yeah, it's almost like he's just trying to get rid of witnesses. So that didn't make sense. But he then said that I could remove the bands and re-add Kelly to her position, and so I did and told Kelly as well. But with the back and forth going on, she didn't want to join until she heard from Arcadum himself. Which, 3 times the charm, he ends up re-banning the people he told me to ban not long after that, so I'm fucking pissed. I get in another call with him, and there I make my decision that I will leave the team if Kelly is not reinstated, because at this point things have been ridiculously unprofessional and I could not work from having been pushed this far. Having Kelly been pushed this far. Later that night, though, I get in another call with him, Kelly, myself, and one other for Arcadum to explain what's happening. Here in this call, he guilt-tripped Kelly and Kelly, with audible tears, dropped position and friendship with him herself, and I could not admire her more for the strength she displayed that night, and couldn't help but pity Arcadum for having to do what he did. He begged me to stay. He knew how important I was to his stream, to the artists, to the YouTube. He knew how much they relied on me, and he guilted me into conceding that I would keep working until someone else could replace me. I am not a cruel person, so I thought about it more and gave Arcadum a proposal. Let me take what I've organized for him in the Workers Collective and let me repurpose it to an independent organization so that I and the artists, musicians, and other creative workers could have one level of separation to protect their livelihood and protect them from receiving any backlash for associating with you. He said he would reconsider it, and later that night Kelly shared her story to me, and I never felt so fucking betrayed and so fucking ashamed. That man lied to my face, Kelly's face, and everyone's face. He didn't want to protect the people he was kicking, he wanted to silence them. For people like me who relied on his money to survive, he preyed and took advantage of my goodwill for others to keep me silent. I talked with him 3 other times after that. I waited for him to tell the truth, but each time he deceived and omitted the truth to save his skin. Not to the staff, not to the admins, not to anyone. He tried to praise out of nowhere in the staff meeting, and it felt so forced and fake. He cornered in a voice call to discuss my proposal, and he questioned my professionalism of over 3 years by asking if I would run off with the group if he accepted. He asked why I lost faith in him, and that was a very loaded question, one that was difficult to answer without letting on more than I know, and without endangering Kelly's confidentiality. So I made it clear that I did not lose faith in him, but I feared my team getting hurt should the worst come, and he would get cancelled for his actions. I will be transparent. He made me a deal that should he get cancelled, the group that I organized would transition to me. Now, that deal has no bearing, as I was never under any contract with him, let alone any contract for all my position. So he had no control over me or the people in that server, but he tried his best to make it seem like he did, and I will not lie, I felt so vulnerable my entire time talking with him. The worst thing I experienced in that call was he had the audacity to make me walk through the thought process of removing Kelly as if it was some sort of loyalty test, to make me say that he had every right to remove her for any reason, because technically, yes, he did have the power to remove anyone for any reason, but that didn't make it right, not one bit. I was being honest when I said I didn't lose faith in him. I always look to the good in people, however little there may have been, to learn and be better, but I lost what little faith I had after that last call, and I made up my mind that he doesn't deserve me, Kelly, the women he abused, the artists, the musicians, and every single person in this community. Not one person. Closing. I implore everyone to read all these stories and keep them to heart. Believe the victims and stand up to abuse and manipulation. I said it before and I will say it again. The nights I spent talking with Kelly and mutually supporting each other through this, I could not help but admire the strength and endurance she displayed, that so many women and others have displayed in the past day. I feel sorry for what you had endured all these years, and I'm so sorry that I did not realize just how bad it was until now. I feel sorry that I was not strong enough to speak my story until now. I am thankful for everyone who supported me through this endeavor, and who have chosen to stick with me as we grow past it. But thank you most of all to Kelly for being the wind keeping me aloft and the echo for my shackled voice and the voice of so many others. Goodbye, Arcadum. Take this harsh lesson and be better. Yep, okay. Well, that concludes it. Ah, yes, the at-will employment, also known as the right to get fired laws. Yep. Yeah, he has a right to fire them, but they also have a right to criticize him and completely go public with, his disgusting behavior in DMs, and that's the beauty of it. He probably won't. Yeah, he probably won't. Oh man, that was nuts. Well, that concludes the Arcadum saga. Something pretty crazy would have to happen in order for me to ever do something like this again. I don't think I will. But you know what? Tell you what. If he does come back in like a month, I'll have a little stream, and maybe we'll have like the greatest hits. Not a long stream, not multiple streams, just one stream. Over 100 votes. Yes, that's right. We do have a poll, don't we? About whether or not you guys hate Arcadum. Where is that? Here it is. Okay, let me go ahead and I guess I could drag it over real quick. So, what's the poll stats here? It doesn't tell me, it just tells me what won. Okay, I'll end the poll right about now. So if you haven't voted, I'll give you guys like 10 seconds. Oh gosh, I didn't even notice. I got a super chat with the 5 from, oh, I can't pronounce that. I recognize the katakana. That's Gi? Something Gi? Keep being awesome. I love your content. God, thank you for sticking by. I know this is a little bit different, but hopefully it was fun. Okay, so this is the poll. Or wait, the poll is over. Drama's delicious. Let's not kid ourselves. Yeah, it's also kind of a poison fruit, though, because man, does it end up weighing on you after a while. So this was important. I feel like it wasn't going to be decisive to talk about, or divisive, should I say. So, there we go. Okay, the poll is now closed. What's funny, ironically, Arcadum ain't the worst scumbag that I've heard or read of. Yeah, definitely, there's worse out there. And that's, it's a little bit more serious for some of those guys. Do you hate him? Poll complete, 104 votes. We have 88% saying yay and 11% saying nay. That's funny, isn't it? Because the whole thing is that, isn't it like it was 82%, isn't it? Because the meme is that he said 17.8% people want to be his friend and like 88% or 82% don't. Rats. He was almost 82%. That would have been so funny. Why not both? Yeah, why not both? Consume the poison. This video is sponsored by Poison. Oh, yeah, because I also think, like, most people come to these YouTube channels, unless it's, like, a documentary type thing. You didn't even see the freaking poll. Okay, hang on, let me drag it over. There you go. There's the poll. So, 104 votes, 88% yay, 11% nay. Or nah. Arcadum loves statistic, we're just giving him what he wants. Yeah, right? He can whine about this to the next girl he's gaslighting. But yeah, most people come to stuff like this to relax, to, avoid anything draining. So I'll be doing horror games and stuff at this point. The percent fell off of the leaks. I know, right? Where's the missing 1%? Oh no. I don't know. Wait, missing 1%. 88 plus 11 is 99. That's right, 99%. Where's the missing 1%? Rigged. I don't know. That is really weird. Maybe to YouTube, like, it's actually a percentage number, like 88.5 and 11.5, but they don't bother to show the point numbers, and so it just has a small percentage that's unaccounted for. Horror games are always welcome. Dude, I found a really cool one called Alone. I haven't seen anyone play it, but I did see a thumbnail and it looked interesting. Something about, like, someone's trying to break into your apartment and you have to, like, prepare and stuff. So we've got some classics coming up. Classic 1% hiding and doing nothing. Just sitting back and watching everything burn from their towers. How about next stream? Let's chill with some horror game. Okay, yeah, absolutely. It's either going to be Alone, that burger horror game, or Dinner with an Owl. So, poll system on YouTube tend to do that. Good, good. You could be the first. What, to play the game? No, I saw that Manly Badass Heroes thumbnail, so most of the things is like I see people in the sidebar, like their videos, I'm like, oh, that looks like a good game, I should play that, but like I can't click on them, otherwise I'll watch them and it won't be, you know, new, you know? I can't fake surprise, so just as long as it isn't more drama. Yep, we are taking a drama break. You guys can go ahead and recharge your cringe levels. Yeah. Have you ever heard of Rule of Rose? It's a horror game for PS2. I actually own Rule of Rose on PS2. I got it when it first came out, which was lucky because it's apparently like rarer to get now, I think, although you could just emulate it, I'm sure. But yeah, I've got that game. It's balls hard. I could not get past the stupid rabbit masked guys, you know. It's a really hard game. Not particularly fun to play, but the story is incredible, you know, and the ambience is incredible, the music. You're gonna continue to play Row 96. I probably shouldn't. I'm probably gonna be nice and unproblematic from now on. You own Rule of Rose? Yeah. I think it's nice. Yeah, it's rare to get. Is it? Let me just go ahead and take a quick peek here. Yeah, I've got the manual and everything. Bought it new. It's not new. You know, I opened it, but... Holy shit! Brand new! 3,900. Open box. 799? Wait, what? Pre-owned 200. Gee. Maybe that's just this one, you know, I don't know. I wouldn't even know how to go about selling it, though. Disco Elysium is dope. I've heard lots of people say good things about it. Witch Hunt is also pretty fun. I miss game manuals. Me too. Now it's just a stupid piece of paper that's like an ad. Haunting Ground is better. I loved Haunting Ground. Haunting Ground and Clock Tower 3, freaking amazing. Haunting Ground should have gotten more love, but it never did. It was just an incredible shame, in my opinion. Haunting Ground is what I would want to make if I were to make like a horror game, you know? Treat it with care, yeah, wherever it is. Alright, well, heck, I guess that's it. I still can't find a copy of Haunting Ground. I don't own a copy of that either. I wasn't allowed to buy it, unfortunately. So what I had to do was, I had to go to, like, remember when Megalinks or whatever was a thing before the FBI cracked down on it, and in order to download the ISO, you had to download it in parts? Haunting Ground was like 46 parts. I vividly remember this, and it took me like a day and a half to download all the parts. I had like a, this was before the days where I really knew what, like, you know, nowadays they have programs that manage your downloads and you just dump all the links in and then it downloads them in order. But back in the old days, I was a little baby and I didn't know about that. And I had to download each one and put them all together, and then, like, you know, 0.001 file, 0.002 file, and then, like, there's 46 of them for Haunting Ground. And then I got to burn it to a ISO played in my little hacked flip-top PS2. And I was so terrified that even though I had already seen a playthrough of the game, I had to, like, watch YouTube videos about what to do, like, every 10 minutes, you know, before I would actually, like, play the game, like, for each part. God, scary. I was just about to buy an account with them the week before they got shut down. Lucky you. Thank God for download managers. Yeah, JDownloader has saved my ass. RapidGator, yeah! RapidGator, FileShare, Upload to... Now there's like MegaShare and like Mega Files and stuff, but the main ones were these two, and I can't really remember what they are. They had like an orange background though. Mega Upload, I think? What? Nah, that doesn't sound right. Yeah, and like, somebody already said RapidGator. Filebox or whatever. Baby in America was just like the D&D emotion. I have a copy of Kuan, another rare horror game. I want to play that for the channel one of these days, definitely. There are download managers? Yes, my friend. JDownloader. And you know what? Listen, don't tell nobody I told you this, okay? You gotta support people who create things, but technically, JDownloader 2, the program, if you just happen to maybe accidentally copy and paste a Bandcamp link into it, you can get all the songs from it. through JDownloader too, but again, don't do that. Don't do that. You're a good person, right? You wouldn't do that. But yeah, it's nuts. JDownloader saved my downloads so many times. I know, right? It's super nice. It's so nice, especially when some of them will hit you with the, oh, you've downloaded too much within a 24-hour frame. It'll just save you right there, and then it'll automatically reconnect after 24 hours and continue the download. So if you're a disgusting person like me, then you love it. You wouldn't download a car. Alright, I need to see some information about y'all's taxes before we start the video. Before we end the video. The video's over. But yeah. Alright then. Well, good stuff. You know, Halloween is coming up. We should play some classics, I think. What I need to do is, like, pull up my pants and actually finish Gregory Horror Show. That was one of my guys, if you liked Haunting Ground and Rule of Rose and like Clock Tower 3, those kinds of games, you know, it's like a vibe, play Gregory Horror Show. You know, it's got a weird tick on the emulation side, but it's a really fun game. It's really fun. And yep, we're over. It is over. Can't wait for Halloween. Yeah. Gregory. Yeah. What's Haunting Grounds? Japanese in Europe, I think it was called Demento, but it's a really good PS2 horror game in the vein of Clock Tower. I think you'd like it. Maybe. Please continue, Gregory Horror. That was great. God, I'm gonna need to, like, restart it. That's how behind I am. Notice the glow in the third eye in the stream thumbnail. Some good... I made that. I made that in a meme maker called, like, make the laser eye meme online, and it took me to, like, a .io thing. So... Gregory Horror Show is one of the few games I kept for my collection that I got rid of. Yeah, it's worth it. Yeah. It can't be over. I'm afraid it's over, man. Gregory Horror Show is like if Parappa the Rapper were horror themed. Very puzzle heavy. Haunting Ground. Yeah, it was good stuff. Would you consider playing Dead Space? Oh my god, that's terrifying. Maybe in the future. There's a lot of classics I haven't played that I really do want to play for the channel. You heard of that horror game coming that Muppets Attack You? Forgot the name. You can't just say it like that. What? Horror games where Muppets Attack You. That reminds me of like a game from 5 years ago where it was like Slaughter on Happy Street or something, where you had to like run around a house and the Muppet suits would like attack you. But basically Capcom must have been smoking crack for releasing 2 horror games at the same time. Yeah. They could have delayed it, in my opinion. I have no idea what Gregory's target audience was intended to be. It was yes. It was everyone. After I talked it up for you, you gotta play Dead Space SD. SD? Slendy Tubbies? No, this was like an offshoot. You have to play Dead Space. Yeah, one of these days. You mean the one with the puppets? What game is this? I haven't heard of it. Is there a Teletubby-themed horror game? Yes, there is. It was really big. All the YouTubers played it like 3-4 years ago. They're making a Dead Space 1 remake. Is EA still in charge of them? I hope not, because EA like sucked them in and then basically turned Dead Space 3 into kind of an action game. Instead of it didn't sell like 50 million copies, they would can it, even though that's not how Dead Spaces have ever been, you know. Is it a game or just a shared fever dream? It's the Candle Cove of indie games. You're gonna change your name to US Border Patrol? Oh man. My Friendly Neighborhood is the name. My Friendly Neighborhood? What is this? What is this? Coming soon. Okay, I'll put us back over for a second. What is this? Oh god, I gotta stop the music. Please don't copy strike me. We fixed it. Oh, they got greenhouses. This looks terrifying. It looks like a puzzle game. I actually like that. I like it when you can examine, like, do puzzles. That's nice. Because sometimes it's just you run around an area. Oh, no. Oh, Ernie, no. All right, well, we'll have to keep our eye on that. It's coming soon. It doesn't say when or where, though. They're trying to cash in on the nostalgia of remakes, RE remakes. Yeah, well, good. If they can actually produce a good game that reignites love of the original material in the franchise, wonderful. They better not freaking just be lazy and do a cash grab, though, because that's what a lot of remakes are. They end up killing the franchise even worse than when it was dormant, because it's just so lazy and garbage, and it even alienates the core audience, by being unfaithful to stuff. Seems like a cute game. EA absorbs good gaming companies and liquefies them. Yup. Am I high right now? No, don't worry about it. World of Horror is something. I actually have like a black and white costume to try out for that one. So that's another thing to add to the list. I feel like I missed the boat on doing it when it first came out, so I might as well focus on ones that are coming out really recently. But yeah, I do need to do that one, absolutely. Always assume laziness, like Saints Row 2022. I know, like, remakes were exciting at one point in time because a couple of them did it right, and then everybody started doing them, like mass-produced garbage that it didn't put effort into, and if anything, they ended up like picking fights with their core fans and like trying to humiliate them and like, not taking criticism from the fans, and it's like, who do you think you're making this game for, World of Horror is still getting updates, is it? I hear there's like mods for it too. Could wait until World of Horror next update, which I think is soonish. Something to think about. Definitely. Unfortunately, I made two big purchases, which was Road 96 and 12 minutes. So I do have to cool it just a teensy bit. But yeah. You should consider playing Carrion. It's a reverse horror. I've seen that one. I've seen like Markiplier play it, where you're the giant goo monster and you're like running around eating people. Those make me feel bad. You know what I mean? It just, I get it, power fantasy, but it makes me feel bad. Check out Shadow of the Serpent Riders. It's a game from 1994. All right, sign me up. Hang on. Shadow of the Serpent Riders, 1994. All right, let's see. We need to just have like a talking stream where I look at like games you guys want to talk about and bring attention to. Heretic. It's a Heretic game. Weren't there like several Heretic games, or am I thinking of something else? Oh my gosh, look at this chunky menu. This reminds me of old school World of Warcraft. I mean, not World, just Warcraft itself. So it's kind of like a Doom clone, which not necessarily a bad thing. There's a channel called like Civi who talks about like a lot of these old Doom clones, Doom inspired kind of things. And it's pretty interesting to see what came out and when and how they did. So it looks like it's yeah. Speaking of which, they do have Doom in VR now, And it's pretty cool if I could get it to work. Whenever I try it, there's just, like, I get into the map, but no enemies have spawned, so I probably did the setup wrong, unfortunately. But that does look really interesting. That would look sick in VR, honestly. I hope it's got enough of a core audience that happens one of these days. Hexen? Yeah, I was thinking, wait, did I say Hexen? Or maybe that's a game that Civi's covered. Let's see. It's made by Raven Software. Why does that sound familiar? Civi 11 is the best. Has he gotten out of prison yet? Did he make it out? I found a lot of games because of him. I know, right? Good stuff. Of course, Civi 11 will never break from his cell. Damn it. Time to start fiddling with VR. I know, right? Oh, maybe you could play the original American McGee's Alice. I remember when that was so famous. I really wanted to get it, but I just, that was before I was pirating stuff. Don't play Heretic. It's hard, especially considering your particular set of skills with FPS. Listen, that is because I insist on using controllers, okay? For this, I would probably use a mouse. Isn't this a talking stream right now? I know, but this was like a drama thing. I need to have like a one, like at the end of the month where I just like shoot the breeze with you guys for like 45 minutes and look at stuff you want me to look at. Raven Software helped make COD Ghost. Call of Duty Ghost? Really? He didn't make it. Damn it. Ever played Alien Isolation? That I've seen footage, and it looks terrifying. I own it on PS4, I believe. I think I got it in a sale. But no, I don't. I'm kind of scared to play it. I've heard it kind of works in VR, but I feel like I'd die. You have 2 game suggestions already. Yes, Sanitarium, right? We need a Flash. It's Halloween. That would be perfect for some horror Flash games, honestly. There was this one flash game horror where like you played a priest and like demons were possessing everybody and you had to like go on a shootout with like little kids that were like being torn in half and like trying to eat you. It was crazy stuff. Didn't you want to stream Alien Isolation at one point? I did, but I'm also terrified to do so. Have you streamed Vampire the Masquerade? I feel like you'd like it. I love Vampire the Masquerade. I really do have to stream it at one point. That's the thing, like there's so many good games I need to do and there's so little time. You moved to a new prison. I hope it's nicer. You should play Aliens if you already have it. I know. It's just I'm kind of scared. All right. I got the complete edition for cheap during a sale years ago. Yeah, a PlayStation sale. That's what I did. Escape Room. Der Kronk College is free and apparently is very... Really? Okay, last one we look at. Der Kronk College. What does that mean? I assume it's German? Alright, let's take one last look at this. Be a Ventru. It's the best clan and you know it. It probably is, but the Toreador is like a watered down version, you know, and that's where my heart belongs, unfortunately. Okay, here we go. BTM had so many fun Easter eggs. Yeah, it was a crap game, but it had so much like love and soul put into it. It's pretty much forgivable, you know. That's why I always say, you know, the game doesn't necessarily have to be good. It just has to have soul. Gangrel gang. Gangrels were pretty cool, especially if you were going for like. I hear the Tremere was really good though. Gonna recommend the original Thief franchise for anyone who likes horror. I hear there's still mods for Thief right now that are going on that like completely change the game a little bit. Okay, the sick colleague. Collogue? It's probably just how foreigners spell college, I don't know. Okay, alright. It is time for me to go. Thanks for coming by, guys. I appreciate it. Hi, Elrond. Hi, chat. Hi, Drake. This is a 4-hour stream, and we are finished. We are back to the regular scheduled programming tomorrow. I need to do a freaking thumbnail, I think. No. Okay, might do a lazy thumbnail. Colleague, like a peer? What? Alright, gotta go. Bye, guys. Thanks for coming. Yeah, Darkwood. I've heard a lot about that one, too. Okay. Bye. Stay safe. Don't get groomed.